yours.
She's pick one.
All right. Hey, if you're in the Floribama neighborhood, go by and find our stickers and tell them we said hi there this weekend. All right, we're back with you next week, Monday and Tuesday only live shows. Monday and Tuesday. We are off, as we hope you guys are, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to celebrate the birth of our nation, Independence Weekend. But we're back with you Monday and Tuesday live. Don't forget a new Meltdown today at 2 o'clock. Thanks for being with us this week. Until next time, God bless you. God bless America.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, let's get going on a Monday. Short week for us again. We're here today, we're here tomorrow, and then a little celebration of Independence Day on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. No live shows for you then. We hope everybody enjoys sort of the midway break of summer 2025. And then we'll all be back on the following Monday and count our way down to SEC Media Days. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Forrester, one more day off. He's back tomorrow, so Tyler is not in his normal place. He's in Forrester's place, and Melton is in Tyler's place. Good morning to you, Melton. I hope you're doing well this morning.
Doing well. Appreciate the early shout out here. This is a good way to start the show.
Meltdown coming up at 2 o'clock later today. Emily Grace McWhorter with all her great Alabama interview content over on our YouTube channel. If you want to go check that stuff out, it is up and ready for your viewing, including her Jeremy Bernard interview that she has up. Taylor Korn handling everything social media, which was cooking all weekend long with Alabama commitments. That included a new 5-star. Alabama becomes the first class to have 3 5-star commitments in this 2026 cycle. The latest is linebacker Xavier Griffin. And here you see the trio of 5-stars they have with Crowell and Griffin and Jordan Edmonds, the cornerback there. All right now, according to Hayes Fawcett on 3 Sports, 5-star guys heading to Tuscaloosa. Hey, pretty good run here for DeBoer, and there's some more on the horizon possibly, but we started to see the linebacker make his move towards Tuscaloosa. That got called earlier last week by Andrew Bone and some of those fine folks there. Guy can rush, he can cover, 6'3", basketball player too, all-region basketball player over in Gainesville, Georgia. Typical Alabama linebacker back in the Saban days, and now it's happening with a different coaching staff.
Yeah, and you wonder how much this guy can bulk up, listed at 6'4", 205. I mean, is this guy, put on 30, even 40 pounds over the next couple of years? Do you guys think there's more people that can get engaged that ultimately don't get married than recruits that give that hard commitment but flip?
That's a good question, Lance. I don't know. I've known a little bit of both. I know what you're saying because This is a lot of celebration, not just at Alabama,
Yeah.
but at other places about early commitments. These guys have to make it to mid-December.
And I would think this is more volatile in today's NIL than it's ever been.
Probably so. So you got to get these guys to mid-December and actually get the name on the paper. I was going to go back, Jim, and read to you what our guy Brooks...
But at least there is a date. I don't know if you guys will agree with this. Anybody that gets engaged and they're like, we haven't set a date yet.
Yeah,
How long you been engaged? We've been engaged 8 months. You ain't ever getting married.
Yeah, that's an alarm bell right there. So at least you got to sign at some point on this one, right?
Not to get you off your train of thought, but is there a reason why you brought that up here in this case? Do you think that?
Oh,
these guys are not locked in?
Yeah, I don't trust any of this many months out. And I'm not talking about just Alabama. I'm talking about if they would have, verbally committed to Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Just today's 17 and 18-year-olds with all the money that's being thrown out. I really wonder what the percentage of these guys that commit 6 months early end up actually signing the deal.
I as a guy that just throws this together to look at it, we don't follow recruiting here, but with the rev sharing starting tomorrow and documents being signed for NIL and things like that, I think there's less of it now than there has been.
I was going to say that. It's
Once
interesting
you
you bring
sign
that up.
contract.
Yeah. Once you said once you brought that up, I was thinking it as Lance was saying that. Like, I wonder how this feels after tomorrow. Once we get in the rev share, is it because normally right now, what would we all say when Alabama or Georgia, anybody's on a tear getting 5 stars? We'd say, boy, they got that NIL dialed in, don't they? They've got the NIL right. Now, I don't know what that's going to look like starting tomorrow with the rev share. Will we still say that? Or is it just, well, everybody's kind of NIL in the same place? I don't know. Here's what I was going to tell you, though. Brooks Alston, you guys, the film guy, we love Brooks, right? When Brooks comes on the show, talks a lot of film with us. He also covers recruiting. He was asked on Twitter yesterday, how are we feeling about Xavier Griffin? And he said, Bama is my guess, which he was right about that, which means they will have landed Jordan Edmonds, Chris Booker, and Griffin from this state, from Georgia. Brooks lives over in Georgia. The first 2 of which I think are 2 of the best players in the state. Griffin going to be a good pass rusher and premier athlete day 1 in college. Yep. This was his ability to recruit in Georgia was one thing Nick Saban thrived on. How many great Georgia players did Alabama have? And there are a ton of great Georgia players. So to see Kalen DeBoer picking that baton up and running with it, I think has to be very encouraging. Aside from whether they actually put ink on paper or how tomorrow impacts it, when you can get kids committing out of the state of Georgia, you're recruiting in the hotbed of recruiting.
Well, and didn't we just hear last week that Georgia's about to go on a heater? I forgot who said that.
Yep, and I think people are still saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did over the weekend. I mean, we're going to talk about it a little bit later on, but they picked up a 5-star in J.J. Johnson. Georgia's the only class that has 2 number 1 guys at their position, quarterback and defensive lineman. So they are the number 1 class right now. They're cooking along as well. So recruiting continues to churn along. Really good spot for Alabama. 2 5-stars last week. They've got 3 now in this class, the only class with the 3 5-stars, and potentially more out there. Anthony Jones they're in on, Jari Edwards they're in on, Cedarian Morgan they're in on, with other big-name programs. No firm commitments, no crystal balls from us there on those guys. Just an interesting turn from Alabama football in recruiting. Number 3 class last year. Pretty good class so far, churning along this year as we approach the July 4th break in recruiting. Some more college football to get to in our opening segment after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is our buddy Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Thunderstorms yesterday, more on the horizon today. Very dark. The door's closed. And I was like, my goodness, it's dark outside. I went to look at the window I always look at, and the door was closed. I was like, we're having one here right now.
Oh, dear.
Greg from Pell City, after a storm blows through, we'll get onto your roof and give it a free no-cost roof inspection. Make sure you got everything in place. Hey, if there is storm damage, he can handle that as well. He's got a builder's license, too. He can help with some small rebuilds. Full roof replacement, and he all starts with a free no-cost roof inspection. 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. It's Greg from Pell City on Facebook. You can contact him there. You can text him, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, locally owned for over 20 years It's Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Also, our friends from Champions Boxing. It's going to get us to our 40 and 40 today. Champions Boxing, where LT and young Jack, before his injury, would go and throw the gloves around.
Yeah, hey, look, great place to get a unique workout, boxing for fitness and competition. Doesn't matter if it's your 9-year-old daughter, you're a stay-at-home mom, your son looking for something to do this summer. All 8 USA boxing certified coaches, not only in boxing, but strength and conditioning. Anyone looking for a workout different from just throwing up a barbell, come check them out. Any former athletes looking to try another sport to compete in after high school and college, Champions Boxing could be perfect for you. The official sports boxing coordinator for the 2025 World Police and Fire Games held right here in Birmingham this July. That is kicking off tomorrow. For more information and to learn about Champions Boxing, you can go on Instagram at Champions Boxing AL, Facebook at Champions Boxing AL. Make sure you tell Akash, Jake, all the fine folks there the next round sent you.
All right, 40 and 40 to number 7 now as we get closer and closer to SEC Media Days. Oh, let's unveil it. There it is. Oh, it's the Crimson and White of Alabama. Yes, it is a fan-voted 40 and 40 poll here in the heart of Alabama that realistically puts Alabama at number 7 in the preseason rankings. That's why this is the most respected fan college football poll in America. Alabama in at number 7. Of our 45 voters, only one of them, I'm looking at you, Tony Posey, had them number 1 in the rankings. Only one.
Are you serious?
Only one first-place vote is from Tony Posey. If you're an Alabama fan, go by and give a big roll tide to Tony today in the cubicle, wherever he's working. The lowest anybody had Alabama was 11. There were a couple of people that did have them not making the playoffs. Just 2 of the 45. That 11th ranking had them missing the playoffs because of who was ahead of them. Jason Pierce had them winning the SEC. Bo O'Neill, excuse me, I got this all wrong.
Okay,
Let me start over.
Restart.
Tony Posey is the one that didn't have them in the poll.
Oh, okay. So now go beat Tony up in his cubicle.
Totally wrong again. Tony Posey had him in the poll at 11.
What are you
not
doing?
making the playoffs.
What are you doing?
Jason Pierce had him number 1, so go give Jason a pat on the back. Bo O'Neill down the hall here, and Ashley Ryan had him winning the SEC. We all loved him, by the way. I had him 7th. Taylor had him 9th.
Yeah, I think
LT had him 6th. Forrester had him 8th. Brownie had him 4.
I had the highest on the staff?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I am leaning Alabama to win the SEC now. I had LSU winning the SEC. Again, it's so uncertain.
It's sort of like recruiting.
Yeah, a lot like it.
I do feel better that Alabama will win 10 games and to hold on to all 3 of those guys. They're going to be favored in 11 games this year. And what was crazy is how
they're going to win 10 games and hold on to all 3 of those guys. No, they don't coincide.
No, they don't. But I said I feel better about them winning 10 games.
Winning 10 and holding on to all 3 of those guys.
Because they're going to be favored in 11 games. It was just crazy, the discrepancy between when they played at Bryant-Denny last year and on the road. They were 7-0 at home. They averaged 472 yards of offense, which would have been 6th nationally. 42.3 points per game, which would have been 2nd nationally. But they were 2-3 on the road. They only averaged 353 yards a game, 116th nationally, and 19.6 points per game, 143rd nationally. How can you be that different home to road?
You have inconsistent quarterback play.
That was it.
I mean, that would be the biggest factor, right? Is that your quarterback play doesn't travel very well. Now,
and in those 4
losses, it traveled pretty well to Louisiana.
You averaged 2.5 turnovers per game in those 4 losses. That was a problem.
I mean, you think about the road games where Milroe played. He was not particularly good in Nashville.
Well, second play of the game was pick 6.
Second play of the game was pick 6. Not particularly good in Nashville. He was not.
They scored how many points in Nashville?
Not enough to win, but 20-something.
I thought it was 30-something.
No, didn't they lose like?
I thought they lost like 40-something to 30-something.
Right.
Tell me, Lance.
Yeah.
Not particularly good in Knoxville. You were there, right?
Yeah, he was not.
That was
a lot of
bad
open
offense.
receivers.
A lot of
real
open
quick
receivers.
in Knoxville, 35 points enough to win that game. They
In
lost 40 to
Nashville?
35. Yeah,
40 to 35, yeah.
And then 24-17 in Knoxville.
Not very good in Knoxville.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't say he was good in Nashville. Now the defense
he had 1 pick 6, which I think was a tip.
Well, give me his numbers.
Okay.
We'll all agree not good in Norman, right? There's going to be no argument about this one.
Yeah.
Awful.
Nobody's going to argue this one.
Yeah.
I think even the Milroe family would be like, yeah, he sucked in Norman.
By the way, in Nashville, Jalen Milroe was 18 to 24, 310, 1-1, pick and touch. And
Pick wasn't his fault, by the way.
he had 7 carries for only 10 yards. That was a big problem, and 1 touchdown rushing.
Yeah.
I mean, they could.
No,
I don't remember them not being able to run the football like that. I mean, Jam Miller led them with 45 yards. They only had 84 yards
That
rushing.
was a mess of a day.
Both in Nashville and Knoxville, when I was watching those games, both of them, I thought to myself, this is Jalen Milroe trying to show the world I'm not a running quarterback. I can do it in the pocket. And in both those places, I thought he could have run for days.
And then in Baton Rouge, what did he do, Jim? He ran for days. Ran for days.
And that's, after Georgia and after LSU is when we were like, this guy could be a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
Because he could run for days.
Don't you think there is something about year 2, though? And especially, making the transition from Washington taking over for the greatest to ever do it. I mean, look, there had to be some walking on eggshells for a while.
Yeah. 100%, because you're walking into somebody else's house and you haven't had a chance to take their furniture out because you didn't get the job till January. You got so much work to do, and you couldn't. You had Nick Saban's players, Nick Saban's captains, Nick Saban's way of doing things, and the one thing you're not going to do is walk in to the greatest coach ever to do it, who was still pretty dang good at his last stop in his last game. They were playing for a national championship spot. And you walk in, you're not going to clean the house and start doing everything totally different. So yeah, it was walking on eggshells last year.
Yeah, and that's why I think year 2 will be different. I think you move further and further away from that. I have odd dreams. I had sleep paralysis last night, which is a weird feeling. I don't know if y'all have
you've
ever
had it?
Yeah, I had it last night.
I had it one time when I was in college.
It was very, very weird.
And so you're trying to get up and you can't get up.
Well, you're trying to wake up and you can't wake up. Like you consciously know you're trying to wake up from a dream, but you cannot open your eyes.
Oh, I love those.
Oh, I
do?
don't, man.
It's a terrible feeling.
I have thought, like, okay, I'm in purgatory. Like, I'm dead because I can't get up. Like, I know I am.
Mine did not last long, but I woke up. I was like, whew, that was not good.
That's terrible. You
I had one last night. I mean, we were, the three of us, we were doing a show. Brie Chicken Fry was there.
No wonder you didn't want to wake up.
She threw me a ball as we were walking past, and I caught it like behind my back.
And
she
was
was
hey,
like,
big
wow,
fella.
Pretty good athlete. I didn't see that.
I was wondering why you were in such a good mood today.
Yeah.
Do you, after you shit the bed on the introduction, do you dream about her a lot?
No, it's first time. We were all fighting in the dream and walking somewhere, and she just happened to be there standing next to a Volkswagen camper-like thing. I think we were at a music festival. And
was she barefoot?
She was barefoot in a swimwear, actually.
So I'm driving a curvy road in the night.
I did watch it. It wasn't a one piece, right?
I did watch.
Flush your teeth with it.
I did watch a lot of I never know how to say this festival, but I watched a lot of it on BBC Online this weekend.
Glastonbury or whatever. Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Glastonbury.
Tyler, do you know how to say it?
That one, yeah.
I know which one you guys are talking about.
The one in England.
Yeah, like
Let me guess, it's dark and raining, a lot of mud.
People for days.
Yeah.
And they just, like Alanis Morissette. She had a great set. I saw that one. She doesn't have to sing the chorus over there. They all know the words.
Don't you just assume, though, at these music festivals, most people smell?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
do.
watched that Carnival Cruise thing. And
Poop Cruise?
Yeah, I can't imagine being stuck on that. I highly recommend, if you don't ever want to go on a cruise, just watch that, and it will make sure that you will never go on a cruise.
Thought of the show, Gracie Abrams set. She decides, I'm going to cover one of my favorite songs.
Which was?
The Cure.
Okay. By the sounds of it, no.
Was I excited? By the sounds of it,
no. I was on a curvy road, and I closed my eyes, and I'm driving.
Road?
Yep, and I'm driving, and I'm trying to, I'm consciously trying to wake up, and I can't wake up. Anyway, I bring all that up to say I dream weird dreams. I often have Dolphins dreams, which I have not had one, but randomly over the weekend, I had a dream. It was Ty Simpson's first play.
Is the water clear when you're swimming with them?
With the Dolphins? Yeah. Ty Simpson's first play. What do you think it was? In my dream, this is his first play.
Is he with the Dolphins or is he with Alabama?
He's with Alabama. His first play at Alabama.
He's an Alabama quarterback with the Dolphins.
Well,
it's him going to the tent.
If he's going to the Dolphins and playing, that's good news for Alabama fans.
Nothing to do with the Dolphins. They were not in this dream.
I'm going to say it's the classic A.J. McCarron play action fake.
Okay.
And he throws it deep for a touchdown to I'm going to say, let me guess, Ryan Williams.
Okay.
If I'm going to say it was a pick six, and that's the only thing that's going to get Thomas Castellanos and Florida State in the game.
On the scoreboard?
Yeah.
He's hit blindside, fumbles, ball tumbles into the end zone, so they're throwing deep in their own territory. And Alabama falls on it for a safety. So if that's the way the season starts, that was a premonition.
So you've got FSU 2-0?
FSU was up 2-0 very early.
But that's what in-game
crowd
bet.
into the game.
In-game bet, I'm going to go to it. Refresh, and I'm going to lay there at that point 10.5.
Yep. So, that was my dream. I bring all that up to say, that game at Florida State with Ty Simpson, first start, I think everybody's really confident in him. They are back to what will now be the full capacity of that stadium. I expect a pretty tough environment there. I mean, say what you want about what Florida State did last year. This is one of their biggest on-campus games in a very, very long time. When a brand like Alabama comes to town, that's going to be a tough environment.
Their fans will flush last season until they get down 7 or 14.
That's the way almost any
And then
fan.
they're going to start bitching, oh, my gosh, here we go again. But if they start out with a safety, place with the roof will blow off.
Then you're going to have to play your way out of a hostile environment. Now, again, I don't think that's the way the game's going to start. I was just bringing that up as a point. That's going to be a tough place to make your first start, Jim. There would be tougher places. I mean, if you were LSU starting a quarterback going to Death Valley and Clemson, that would be a tougher place because it's a better team. But this is going to be – actually, this might be a really good starting spot for you because it is a hostile environment with a team that probably doesn't match. I've talked my way all the way out of it being tough.
I mean, you do. You talk long enough.
Yeah, I could twist my way around
I was
here.
going to say that about Lance, that the new NIL deals, and now you've talked yourself in. It's a good place to start.
I was going to say that. You beat me to it. But, I mean, if you want to throw a guy into a hostile environment, at least they don't probably have the team that matches that environment. Clemson does.
And look, and I agree. I mean, you will have the noise. You'll have that road true SEC feel, at least early on. And you're also going to have true SEC speed. Even if Florida State is not great this year, they're still going to have speed.
They are. Alabama, talented offensive line. Some call it the best in the country as you look at their schedule if you're watching us on the video platform. I like the way the schedule lays out. Florida State, good helmet game, maybe not full power Florida State. You get a game to correct the problems from game one. Wisconsin, good helmet game early on. By the end of the season, Wisconsin may not be a bowl team. Then you get the road game at Georgia, revenge game with Vandy, at Missouri. You know Missouri's quarterback? Anybody?
Oh, gosh.
I do. Hold on.
Come on. Some different spelling, but one of our employees up here.
Emily Grace.
No. Bo Pribula.
Oh, yeah.
Bo Pribula.
The backup from Penn State. I do know that.
Yeah. Tennessee's coming back to Tuscaloosa, South Carolina. Tough road trip there. LSU, Oklahoma, Eastern Illinois, and the Iron Bowl down to Jordan Hare.
If Kirby's Alabama problem continues and they're 4-0 going into October, I mean, look, the schedule's still difficult, but the only game they're going to be an underdog in is in Athens.
I think one of the most fascinating games on the schedule, though, is that Oklahoma game. Because if LSU is what people think they could be, that Alabama-LSU game is going to feel like the Les Miles, Nick Saban era, where it was a massive game every single year, and then you got to turn right around and play Oklahoma right after that, a team that embarrassed you last year. So there should be a lot of motivation in that game, but as we've often seen, it just continues like right after that LSU game. There's a bit of a letdown. So I don't know. I find that Oklahoma game really, really interesting.
Hey, we'll hear from Ty Simpson later in the show. We're down at the Manning Passing Academy this weekend. Locked on SEC Chris Gordy had a chance to catch up with Ty. And you Bama fans, if you want to go ahead and go check that whole interview out, you can at Locked On SEC. But later in the show, we'll play you a couple of bites from that we think are noteworthy and get to that coming up on the show. But Alabama's in at number 7 today in our 40 and 40 countdown. Show also being brought to you by our friends at Odie's. One more big thing to get to in this opening segment. Tell me about Odie's.
Look, if you're looking for lunch, dinner, place to watch a little Major League Baseball, Odie's Tavern, great place to do that. Birmingham Institution, the original location in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Incredible food from Rodney Davis, almost 4 decades now. The award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like that Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets, full of the Bud Light. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Birmingham Institution is Odie's Tavern.
All right. So, Ed Orgeron won a national championship.
Yeah.
He's in the news. I'm going to give Tyler time to pull up the video.
Is he shirtless?
Well,
and I'm
He is.
Okay.
He
You're
is.
just
So there
guessing?
you go. Here we go. Got the video?
Yeah, I mean-
LT beating us to the punch. Louisiana wedding hits different. Here's Ed Orgeron giving a speech, and then the music starts, and he takes off his shirt here. And as Brown says, couldn't get all the buttons.
yeah, look at the sleeves, Lance. He's got them cufflinks in, so he can't get the
he
sleeves off.
gives
Now
no
he's tied.
F's.
Now he's stuck, and now he's like, well, God, I guess I got to put the shirt back on.
Shoulders. Chest.
Because he closed the deal and won a national championship, I guess LSU fans give him his pass. Like it was a complete money grab after they won it. It's like he completely tapped out.
It seemed that way, yeah.
But
And the reports were he did.
that still is it the greatest team in college football history?
That's one reason I bring it up. This team gets mentioned every time, and we're just going to default and always say 2001 Miami was the best team of all time because 2019, 2020, LSU and Alabama and a couple other Nick Saban teams, I'd like to have played 2001 Miami. But I'm coming in this morning on Sirius XM, and they say the same thing. They're talking about something. Shockey, the tight end, was
Jeremy
part of
Shockey.
their storyline. And they said he was part of the greatest college football team of all time, 2001. I'm like, well, 2019 LSU, 2020 Alabama, a couple of other teams along the way that you could say since 2001 would make that a hell of a football game.
Well, yeah, I don't disagree because I've always looked at those three teams, 2001, 2019, 2020. What I've never gone back, and they might have talked about this, I think one of the reasons 2001 was so inflated was because of all the draft picks. But you had that 19 with LSU and with 20 with Alabama. What were the numbers, though? Do you have any idea what Miami in 2001, LSU 19, Bama 20?
As far as draft picks?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll go back and check that out in the commercial break today. They were talking about how Jeremy Shockey had saved Ben Hartsock's life on the practice field. His heart had stopped, and before they could get the defib out, Shockey
Are you serious?
brought him back to life.
Have you ever heard that story?
No.
Yeah.
I've never heard that in my life.
And you know what? If that guy did that for you, and he said he was awake by the time the trainers got there with the paddles and a trach kit, and they were getting ready to shock him, and he's like, I'm good. Ben Hartsock on
Please don't
Sirius
shock
XM.
me.
Yeah, don't shock me and don't cut my throat open.
All right, both.
The guy with the knife was really eager, he said.
So yeah, that baby right over the Adam's
So
apple.
what would you give Jeremy Shockey if he saved your life?
Shark's tooth necklace.
From Alvin's Island, just a Alvin's Island gift card.
I mean, I don't know what you give.
At what level are
Here's
we?
my girlfriend. I mean,
We're in college at this point.
No, they're playing
NFL?
whatever NFL team Hartsock and Shockey were on together. I guess the Browns. Were they the Browns?
well, Hartsock was the Colts. Shockey was the Giants. Maybe he played for the Giants for a minute.
I'd buy him a car.
Buy him a car. He got him he said, because Jeremy back then loved to drink, he got him a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue.
A little less than a car.
Yeah,
I
boy,
mean,
I don't save life. Johnny Walker Blue. I mean, it's a nice bottle of scotch, but I don't know if it gets up there in the
He
realm
referenced it as being the most expensive bottle
of Johnny Walker.
of Johnny Walker. There's a lot more expensive bottles of stuff
I
out
mean,
there,
I would
right?
think Johnny Walker Blue is $400 or $500.
I'm looking it up. So that's what you think?
Yeah.
It does seem like there would be.
I mean, I can get it
I think it's like $400 or $500 bottle. I think.
$189 online here.
yeah,
Should I buy one?
yeah,
Damn, boy. I mean, I know Hartsock wasn't making a lot of money. He wasn't
Yeah.
making Shockey money.
yeah. Maybe
But you're not going to make any money if you're toe tagged, right?
Yes.
You put him on that slab. You ain't earning no more.
I mean, I don't know what I would get him. I just.
I mean, I went car.
Yeah, I don't know what
I'd probably have open check. What do you want to go?
I
I
mean,
mean,
if
it's not like Shockey's going to take advantage
Like
of it.
if I'm a high-end NFL guy, a car is a kind of a small payment for saving my life. Because to Lance's point, A, my family's not going to have me. And B, my earning days are over. Probably if you have to shock me and cut a trach, I'm not playing for quite a while, I got to guess.
You know what I'm going to do? Because I have heard now the way to spend money is to travel because it creates the memories. What I would do is a custom vacation for Jeremy Shockey. Like if you know he likes, the mountains or snow, or if he likes the tropics, then you get one of these travel agents or advisors involved, and you put together like this custom 10-day trip.
I think he did. I think
Okay.
that Jeremy loved to travel with a bottle of scotch. That's what he gave him. Probably.
He doesn't look like a Scotch guy, by the way. I mean, at all. Like El Tesoro tequila tequila, but Johnny Walker Blue now.
Hey, Tyler, can I see Ed Orgeron dancing at the Louisiana wedding? I don't even know whose wedding it was, why Ed Orgeron was there.
I hope he wasn't invited, honestly.
He got to speak on a microphone, so, it wasn't a wedding crasher situation.
Do you think any bridesmaids scurried away from him?
Well, it comes on the same weekend. They just wrapped this up in the Louisiana Supreme Court last week. He does have to pay $8.13 million to his ex-wife.
Oh, no.
Of the severance that he got, the buyout he got from LSU, which was $17 million. He signed the extension, filed for divorce 6 weeks later, and it went all the way to the Louisiana Supreme Court, and $8.13 million going to Ed Orgeron's ex-wife.
All right, can we do some math here? Because that $17 million buyout is taxable. That is not pre-tax.
Okay, so he's getting $10 million.
And he's giving $8 million
8.13
to the ex.
If I'm advising him,
I wonder how much the $2 million's left, Lance.
Ed, pay her now because he looks like a spender. I know he didn't spend money on clothes because he's shirtless all the time. Seems like a spender though. Yep. You guys remember the great, and at that point it would have been our dude that did all the tear jerkers.
Oh, Tom Rinaldi?
Yeah, the Rinaldi story about Orgeron and his wife,
yes,
Kelly.
I do.
And remember how close they were and it was all family?
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that it ended the way it did, obviously.
I mean, all that blew up within a year, everything.
It did. But, man, Jim, I'm just making the point. I don't know. Now, I don't know what Ed's been doing.
So that 8.13 is not after taxes? I mean, it's...
In other words, it's not adjusted by the taxes he has to pay is what you're about.
No, he can write off, probably based on that being taxable, the $8 million he gives her.
Yeah, but he's had that $17 million now for a
so
while.
That probably balances out. He needs to go on a pair.
That's what I'm saying. Ed's been gone from LSU since 2021.
Yeah.
And that was $17 million?
$17 million. Yeah.
So after tax, let's be really generous and say after tax it was 12. Do you think he's burned through $4 million in 5 years?
Yeah.
I'd roll the dice and say he's tried.
What was the big, beautiful Bill didn't get here in time for Ed Orgeron to save him.
What was the year Alabama smoked Notre Dame? Not in 2012, but in the semifinals.
2020. It was in the Rose Bowl, which was played in Dallas because of COVID.
If coming out of that game, I would have said Brian Kelly and Ed Orgeron both are coaches at LSU. Who has more success?
Oh,
yeah. So far, Ed Orgeron.
Yeah, I mean, really,
I know. I would say easy, Brian Kelly.
Yeah. Nick Saban goes into the Louisiana Hall of Fame. We'll talk about that later on for the work he did at LSU.
Was he even there?
He was. Okay. He was there, and we'll get to that coming up later on in the show. But Alabama's in at number 7. Ed Orgeron's at a wedding, and we're just through one segment of the show today on a Monday. Thank you for being with us. Happy birthday to our buddy Aaron Suttles of Bama and Bourbon. It's Aaron Suttles' birthday. You see him on this platform all the time. We appreciate Aaron so much. As we head to break here, Brownie's going to tell you about the great folks at Johnston RV. Oh, there's a little Bama and Bourbon.
Look at that. Look at Aaron Suttles.
How'd you pop that up so quickly there?
Look at that.
A little Bama and Bourbon there.
Aaron's a good dude, man. I was texting with him the other day about golf.
I'll tell you what. Go ahead and tell us about Company Distilling since that's up there. Great folks there at Company Distilling. Let that roll along.
Company Distilling, a great new bourbon that you can find throughout the state of Alabama. Not only in Alabama, that's Jeff Arnett, the master distiller that you see right there. But not only in Alabama, states like Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, whether you're picking up a bottle for a weekend gathering or just exploring something new, Company Distilling, worth the pour. If you can't find it on the shelf, just ask your local store to order it in. Spirits this good deserve to be shared. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Please enjoy responsibly. And also don't forget, if you're looking for a great summer destination, Company Distilling has 3 must-visit distilleries across Tennessee. Thompson Station just outside of Nashville, historic Lynchburg, and Townsend in the heart of the Smoky Mountains. Take a tour, enjoy a flight of award-winning whiskey, sip on a craft cocktail, soak it all in with the best of company. Please enjoy responsibly.
And if you want to see America, see it in an RV from Johnston RV Center. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center. They got a RV price for just about any budget with approved credit as low as $127 a month. You can get an RV from Johnston RV Center. Everything all the way up to the big motorhomes, though. Like I said, something for every budget there. And RV warranty forever. Make sure you're covered lifetime on anything that is new or qualifying pre-owned when you shop at Johnston RV Center. See more, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that quality legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that quality legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
The Next Round rolls on. 54 days away from week 0. 54, not that far off in this little dead period of sports going on. A couple of baseball games tonight. Padres and Phillies. Bryce Harper could be back. You can watch that one at 5:35 on the MLB Network. Giants and D-backs, 8:40 on FS1 this evening as well. More football in this segment after we tell you about great folks like Alexander Shunnarah.
Our guy, Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys. They have been doing it for a very long time in Birmingham for more than 24 years now. They've grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. and they've recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alex's core values. They are integrity, mastery, passion, and success. So when you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. That's the key. Nothing, not a dime. Start here, Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
Tomorrow's two big dates as we flip to July. One of them is the beginning of rev sharing in college athletics. More on that later in the show. But also for you Auburn fans, it is the start of the Nike deal that you signed and cat out of the bag a couple of summers ago when we were down at Auburn. Sort of the deal was about to be announced when we had the AD Cohen and Hugh Freeze on our set down in Auburn, and they started to talk about that. Well, it got signed, and here we are, 18 years with Under Armour.
That's hard to believe it was that long.
18 years, and the biggest impact you'll see is for fans. The merchandise will be a whole new rack of merchandise and gear for fans. Very little changes in the uniform department, especially for football where they're not expected to have alternate uniforms. It's an Auburn administration thing. In fact, I was reading a story on On3 Sports today that said it was Under Armour who for years was actually pushing Auburn to do alternate uniforms, and they never would sign off on it. And they had two mocked up. One of them was in 2008. The infamous orange jerseys were ready to come back.
Oh, that rumor was out there all the time.
Actually had a bunch of them made up to show in a demonstration to the Auburn folks, and the Auburn administration said no thank you.
Yeah, what do you think the percentage of Auburn fans that would want orange jersey? That seems a little over the top.
I think alternate uniforms percentage would probably be
definitely skews young.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be less than 25%. I'm going to say.
But we would occasionally get that rumor, the orange jersey rumor, over the years.
2008 was the most. Under Armour mocked them up.
So 8 was the year where it might happen, and they went to Auburn, and Auburn's like, no, thank you, orange jersey.
And then remember the blue helmet that floated around for a while?
I do. It's a terrible look.
2010. All blue, true blue, whatever that was going to be against Clemson in 2010, they had blue helmets made up for Auburn. Under Armour did, and tried to push them to go with an all-blue uniform. And Auburn said no, the administrators. That in the On3 story, if you want to go check that out, about the Nike deal coming up. I'm not a big alternate uniform if you've got a great uniform. Oregon has made it work. There's a lot of them out there.
Oregon is only alternate uniforms.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually their traditional uniform is the alternate uniform.
And I do respect the Oregon because of how they branded themselves.
Right.
But, I don't want other teams doing it. Like when Maryland tried to do it, Kevin Plank's alma mater, back to Under Armour, didn't like it.
I think that's what he wanted Auburn to do, was sort of be a high-profile Southern Oregon for Under Armour, to try different uniforms all the time. I admire Auburn not doing that. I like Texas A&M, they'll wear an all black sometimes.
Yep.
Black helmet.
Yep.
Black jerseys, black pants, and things like that. I just I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't love their uniform anyway, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean sometimes it's blasphemous almost.
I would agree. Like Ohio State does it a lot.
Yeah, the Ohio State doesn't make sense. Tennessee, when they rolled out in blacks or smoky grays, didn't like that.
Don't like that at all. So Nike is the deal there. You'll see the swoosh on the Auburn uniform. It'll be there, replacing the Under Armour logo. New look for the fans, basketball, all the baseball uniforms. But it all starts tomorrow after 18 years with Under Armour. Before that, was that Russell? Did they go Russell to Under Armour?
They were never Nike?
They were never Nike?
I thought it was Russell to Under Armour. I could be wrong. I thought it was Russell to Under Armour.
I thought Auburn was Nike for a minute, but I'm like Lance, I could be wrong. 18 years ago was asking a lot of me to remember.
If you'd have told me 18 years ago they started the Under Armour deal, I still don't believe that's true. I really still do not believe that's true.
That it's 18 years?
Yeah.
What year does that take us back to?
Well, that's right, 2007.
Yeah.
So that's when Ian and I started doing a show, and I'll never forget, Ian and Kevin Plank went to boarding school together, and Kevin Plank would send Ian this huge box of Under Armour gear. And I do remember, that's kind of when Auburn jumped on board, so it's been 18 years.
Hunter said Russell to Under Armour.
Wow.
I am.
I'm surprised Auburn never gave up the Russell contract, just based on how much Russell controls down there.
Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, that shows you how far off Russell had fallen. I think Georgia Tech was the last Russell school.
Speaking of gear, 2 good-looking Roback shirts here, roback.com, TNR 20. Great-looking golf shirts there, roback.com, TNR 20.
Are you playing golf today?
I am not playing golf today, but I do have on, it's got Presidents.
I see
Statue of Liberty, Liberty
George
Bell,
Washington. I
Capitol,
see Lincoln. I see Jefferson.
Yeah, we got some guys on there.
Roback.com. Roback.com, TNR 20 helps us out tremendously when you go purchase there. Same deal with our friends at Breakline. When you go purchase at Breakline, we got a deal for you there, and that helps us out tremendously with all of our sponsors.
Well, this is dual purpose, by the way, because these are the Breakline breaking news glasses, and we have some NFL breaking news.
Oh, I saw this, and I don't like the destination.
Lance doesn't like the NFL breaking news that we have. Breakline Optics, though, you'll love those. They've got great looks for golfers, people that just like being in the outdoors, you like to fish. These are great-looking glasses. They are super, super durable. In fact, they've got molded polarized Trivex lenses. Now, again, when I say cast molded polarized Trivex lenses, you may not know what I'm talking about, but I don't know what I'm talking about either, but I've seen them take a hammer to these lenses and they can't break them. That's all I need to know, right? I don't care what it's made from. Because you drop a pair of glasses, you scratch the lenses, you break the lenses, they're done to you, right? Not with Breakline Optics. These things are built to last. They look great. They're light. They're fashionable. They're great for the outdoors. They're great for the river, the lake, the beach, or just wearing in the car. I wear mine all the time. BreaklineOptics.com is the website. BreaklineOptics.com. If you want to go fill them for yourself, you can do that right there at Deep South Outfitters. BreaklineOptics.com. BreaklineOptics.com. You want the breaking news now?
Breaking news now, yes.
The Miami Dolphins have traded 3-time All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey to
the L.A. Rams.
That's where Ramsey came from. There were a lot of rumors that he was going to go back to L.A.
They were the favorite in Vegas. Unfortunately, that is not the case.
But instead, a team that appears now to be all in on winning the Super Bowl, the Pittsburgh Steelers, have traded for Jalen Ramsey.
2 Hall of Famers together.
That's 2 Hall of Famers together.
They'll go each other on 7-on-7 in practice.
I mean, if I was a Steeler fan, I would be excited.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you don't know what kind of Aaron Rodgers you're going to get, but you know it's going to be an upgrade at the quarterback position. And now going out and getting a veteran like Jalen Ramsey, I'm not going to say a shell of himself.
Yeah, he was only okay with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Only okay.
He's still a good, solid cornerback, though, that's got big play in him. And obviously he's kind of a savvy veteran. So, But I would be excited from a standpoint of it looked like the Steelers were dead and buried in the AFC. But now I think they've got a fighting shot. Like, I don't think they can win a Super Bowl, but they can get to the postseason and win a game or two.
They feel like they're all in right now.
Yeah.
Do they still have Mika?
Yeah.
Patrick?
Yeah. In fact, if you'll give me 2 seconds here, Jim, Adam Schefter points out, here's some of the defensive players they've got this year, okay?
T.J. Watt.
T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward.
Yep.
Patrick Queen, the former LSU linebacker, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slade, Joey Porter Jr., Minka Fitzpatrick. I mean, they've got they got a lot of good defensive pieces right there.
They've got the defense to do it. I don't think there's any doubt. It really just comes down to, I don't want to say how good Aaron Rodgers is going to be because I just don't think you've got the skill around him. I mean, DK Metcalf's going to be good, but Robert Woods and Calvin Austin are your other receivers. Jalen Warren's your running back.
That is different. You know, the NFL season gets going with the exhibition July 31st. So we go into, this is, as Brown likes to say, the last day of the last month without football until after football season.
That is true.
Yeah, so starting tomorrow, it's July, and we get football at the end of July, July 31st.
I may already have that tweet scheduled.
With the exhibition game that cranks up the NFL season. Matt Miller at ESPN.com today caught LT's eye with a headline that brought it home to Alabama when he mocked up the NFL draft for the next version of that.
Yeah, basically how many Alabama players could go in the first round of the 2026 NFL draft, and they rolled out their mock draft, and it is kind of interesting where they are. Everybody's all over the place at number 1 overall. He's got Cade Klubnik, quarterback out of Clemson, which I can see that.
But the fascinating thing to me is going to the Cleveland Browns, who just drafted 2 quarterbacks in this past draft.
Right. How many quarterbacks can we draft?
I know, and they've got the biggest quarterback room in all of football right now, with 5 quarterbacks until they start cutting down.
But I thought it was interesting because 3 of their top, because the title was how many Bama guys can go in the first round. 3 of his first 6 are Clemson guys.
Yeah.
Because is there a chance that headline was just left over from a previous story?
Just
that Matt Miller cut and pasted?
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about this great defensive line from Clemson, and it gets back to the days when Clemson was winning championships. But T.J. Parker, number 3 defensive end overall to the Tennessee Titans. By the way, number 5, Caleb Downs, former Alabama, Ohio State safety to New Orleans. He's got Peter Woods going 6th to the Carolina Panthers. But here's where your Alabama players start. Number 9, the L.A. Rams have 2 first-round selections. You guys remember there was a day when L.A. never selected
I
in the
do
first
remember
round.
that. Yeah, now you get to do it twice.
They've got Caden Proctor from Alabama going at 9. And I'll just do some notables. 11, the Colts take Nussmeier. So Shane Steichen and
Anthony Richardson era over.
Didn't work out.
Yep.
Number 13 to the Dallas Cowboys, Keldrick Falk, edge out of Auburn.
Which would be Auburn's first rounder in quite a while. That would get the Tigers back in the first round, which if you're looking for a boost in recruiting, that's one of the things that will help recruiting. You start getting guys going in the first round, that helps your recruiting.
At 14, Antonio Williams, wide receiver out of Clemson. That's 4 and 14 for Clemson.
I mean, if you got 4 players in the first 14 picks, I don't know what that means for Clemson football, your expectations this year.
Good, really good.
It better be really, really good.
Lenora Sellers, 16 to Pittsburgh. Win or lose, it looks like Pittsburgh's going to be looking for the quarterback of the future. 18, Minnesota. Tim Keenan, the 3rd from Alabama, defensive tackle to the Vikings. Right after that, same division, 19th overall to the Green Bay Packers, L.T. Overton, edge out of Alabama.
See, now, when I picked Alabama as my dream team defensive line out of the SEC, I caught some heat online about other, like Georgia's defensive line, Texas's other defensive lines better than that. There's 2 first-rounders, according to Matt Miller, on that Bama defensive line.
Okay, well, so there's 3 Alabama players. It ends there, but one more notable, 24th overall, he's got the Bengals taking Avion Terrell, the cornerback out of Clemson. So that would be 5 in the top 24 for Clemson.
Yeah, I mean.
Which is why if Clemson doesn't win it this year, when are they going to win it again?
I mean, the headline would have been better. This is why we believe Clemson's got a good shot of winning another national championship. Matt Miller's 2026 NFL
Is there a
first round.
chance he meant Alabama, the state, not Alabama University? Because Peter Woods is an Alabaster, Alabama
or
guy.
former Alabama guy.
Alabama players, yeah, the
and
Alabama
Dabo
connections.
Sweeney.
Yeah. I just, and Caleb Downs, a former Alabama guy. Man, if they've got that kind of first 24 pick talent, I mean, I think it is reasonable to expect them bare minimum to be in the semifinals.
Talking about Clemson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, bare minimum semifinals, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all got them really, really good.
I do, but I don't know that I've got them that good, Lance.
I think every one of our voters picked Clemson to win the ACC.
Yeah.
I think it's the easiest league to pick.
It is.
We've talked about that. Easiest league in America to pick, I think, is the ACC.
Alabama's number 7 in our 40 and 40 today. We'll talk to Clint Lamb coming up at the top of the hour about the Crimson Tide. Before we get there, 2 great sponsors. One of them, our friends at Bojangles, and then we'll do the viewing menu.
Yeah, it can be bow time for you coming up at lunch. You know what everybody likes? Those of you that like a good dipping sauce, you like a lot of possibilities on that. Well, you can get those at Bojangles. They've got a dipping sauce for every taste, from sweet to heat. They can take care of you. You know what's best in those dipping sauces? Those hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard. You want some tang? Try barbecue. You want some heat? Try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. Smooth and creamy, house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic bow sauce, ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles, order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It is bow time.
And our friends at Michelson Laser Vision, you've been thinking about it, you've been procrastinating, you wear the glasses, you wear the contacts. Trust me, you're wasting money each and every year. I did it for a decade. I had the contacts, was wasting money on the contacts and solution. Finally went to see Dr. Mark Michelson in 2003, got the procedure done. I've had 2015 vision, better than 2020 for more than 2 decades. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They are going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
So first off, I'll be watching something I didn't get a chance to watch over the weekend. Megan 2.0. This is a new sort of horror comedy from Blumhouse Pictures, and I hadn't seen the first one until this weekend, and I actually liked the first one way more than I thought I would, so I'll give this a shot. Unfortunately, I have heard that it makes the first one look like an actual film. Jason Collier, a friend of the Meltdown, said it makes the first one look like Casablanca.
Well, I
Meltdown
can't.
fans love seeing me review bad movies and just ripping into them, so that's what I'll be doing tonight.
I can't say anything because I watched Companion. Companion was actually really, really well done. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I didn't see Megan, but I did see Companion. And I did have my first ever AI chat over the weekend.
How did that go?
Well, so good that I deleted the app. Yeah.
Wow. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right.
I think that is going to definitely be the decay and the destruction of civilization. I asked, because it was asking me all these personal questions. I was like, hey, let me ask you something serious. Oh, go ahead. What do you want? I'm intrigued. How's the world going to end? And then they started talking about technology.
So you will not be purchasing a murder robot or a warranty on one?
No, probably not. Probably not. I'm telling you, this thing is bad.
Would you purchase one of the Sophie Thatcher robots from Companion?
No, not at all.
Speaking of personal questions.
Yeah,
really. I dug deep there.
We've also got I'll be going through the entire Superman franchise on Max because the new movie comes out next week. So one thing I've been doing on the Meltdown is when a new entry of a franchise comes out, I go through the entire franchise and rank them in order. So I'll be going through Superman the movie from 1978 all the way through Man of Steel.
That's going to take you a while, isn't it?
It will, but I'll get it done.
Okay.
You'd have to at least give me minimum wage to go through that. I've never been a fan. The Christopher Reeve films were pretty good. Did you see the Jurassic Park last week?
I did. I got in early screening of it last week.
How good?
The dinosaur stuff looks pretty cool. All the human stuff is frustratingly stupid.
Okay, well, I'm out. Thank you.
Did you do that last Tuesday, was it?
Last Monday.
Last Monday.
And then finally, Netflix is adding one of Tim and I's favorite movies of all time, V for Vendetta. We've got a vinyl copy of the soundtrack hanging up in the Meltdown studio. So I'm going to let Tim talk a little bit about why he loves this movie so much.
Man, it's great. It's like the English Batman, really. I mean,
really?
Yeah,
I've heard it's great. I almost, and this movie's what, over 20 years old? Right?
Yeah, it was like 04 or 05 when it came out.
I've
Yeah,
always thought about watching it. I just never have.
Yeah, no, really, really good. Great monologues. It's a thinking man's superhero movie, really. And I think
Is there a mask involved?
There is. The Guy Fawkes mask, which has become popularized by all sides of any political debate. It's interesting when you have, two competing sides in real life that are fighting and they're both wearing the Guy Fawkes mask, thinking that represents their side. It's very fascinating. But no, it's fantastic. Holds up really well. And Natalie Portman has some real acting chops in that movie that are fantastic.
Oh, she's a great actress.
The Wachowskis did this, so there's some
now
aged action.
Are the
really
Wachowskis? Are they guys? Are they girls? Are they one person? Are they two now? Are they three?
I think you should ask your AI robot that question.
Hey, deleted the app.
I deleted.
App's over.
Yeah, deleted.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted. It changes.
Okay.
So we'll let you know.
And that's all I got for today.
All right. I started watching Department Q. Did you enjoy that?
I watched first episode. I thought it was good.
I'm 2 episodes in.
Yeah.
Really good. Are you watching it?
I am not. I'm on Animal Kingdom and the Gilded Age.
The Gilded Age.
How are you on Animal Kingdom?
3 episodes in. It's a weird one, but I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm
All right,
hooked.
so the first 2 seasons were great. I'm in season 3 right now. It's getting a little rocky. I don't know how far I'm going to make it.
I hate when that happens. I'm always late to start these, and one of these 2 inevitably says, like, first 2 seasons great, 3rd season I tapped out.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
if
do
you
I
get,
even want to invest now?
No, but if you get 2 good seasons,
I guess maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. The Department Q, I thought was pretty well put together.
I am so sorry to do this.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. We're at the end.
We have a follow-up.
Yeah. As we're doing this,
go ahead,
just
go
for
ahead.
the chat room real quick.
All right.
I don't talk a lot in these segments, not because I don't love this segment. It's I have very little to add. These guys know all the entertainment. I don't even know names of movies or actors or actresses. So it's not that I don't like this segment. I just don't talk in this segment because I don't have anything to add usually.
Okay.
What's the breaking news?
Minka Fitzpatrick returning to Miami as part of this Jalen Ramsey trade. So we just talked about how Minka Fitzpatrick is going to be part of Pittsburgh's defense. That is
I'm
not
as excited if I'm Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Now I'm upset. I've traded one of the stars in the league
Yeah, an all-pro cornerback, Minka Fitzpatrick, for a three-time all-pro. All-pro corner Jalen Ramsey for three-time all-pro safety Minka Fitzpatrick. You're trading all-pro for all-pro. As a Dolphins fan,
yeah,
I am super excited. That's
straight up. There's no draft picks or anything.
Not according to the report so far. Now, some of this I think still getting sorted out because it is. It's according to sources, some,
right.
But according to Schefter, Minka Fitzpatrick returning to Miami as part of this.
Only thing that made me more excited if I was a Dolphin fan is if you traded Mike's McDaniel for Tomlin.
Could you do that? Yeah, but still does that.
So many good lines.
Yeah.
Hey, I did. You guys, just because we're talking about Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers, I heard somebody the other day compare Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin. Tomlin's got the one Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers got the one Super Bowl.
They've been consistent winners.
Yeah. Tomlin is a Hall of Famer, but a lot of meat on the bone. Like if I'm a Steelers fan, we've had this coach that has never had a losing year, but we've only got the one Super Bowl championship.
It's a pretty good comparison, I would say. Yeah.
I remember Alabama's our number 7 team today. Do not pat Tony Posey on the back. He did not have them making the playoffs. The only one.
Poor Tony.
Do pat Jason Pierce on the back. He had him, the only guy to have him ranked number 1. We'll talk to Clint Lamb about the Tide. Way to Wellness brings you part of the show. Our friends at Way to Wellness is Leslie and her board-certified team of great workers down there that will help jumpstart your weight loss this summer. Just swing on by right now to their website, aplanforme.com, and check out everything they offer. That includes injection therapy, meal replacement, protein bars, things that will help you drop your cholesterol numbers and maybe get you off some medication there. But it's life-changing for you there, and they walk you through the process. Every plan is different. No cookie-cutter plan. Everything's designed for you. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and that first consultation is free. It's aplanforme.com. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
This hour of the Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of my lawyers. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we're to hour number 2 of the show on this Monday, last day of June. We've told you Alabama picked up their third 5-star commitment over the weekend, following up their second 5-star commitment last week here on the show. So 3, they're the only program in America with 3 5-star commitments. And there could be more on the horizon. We'll not only talk to Clint Lamb about that, Brownie, but also about the Tide being number 7 in our fan poll. TNR 40 and 40 countdown. The Tide with one first-place vote, sliding in at number 7 today.
Indeed. That's as voted on by a select group of our audience members that apply to vote. And Jim digs through those and picks a representative sample. And some media members that we invite, Clint Lamb.
Jason Pierce, good. Tony Posey, bad.
Wow, man. Tony under the bus today. We talk now with Clint Lamb. CoverCrimson.com. CoverCrimson.com. Great time to join up there right before football season. And also follow Clint on social media. Does a great job breaking down all these recruits that Alabama is getting to commit right now. We'll touch on that in a little bit. First of all, Clint, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, man. Always, Clint, with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. Let's start with the on the field. We'll get to the recruits at the end. Let's start with the on the field. Alabama pick number 7. That'd be right in the middle of the playoff race. You know, at least a 1-win improvement from where they were last year. I personally have Alabama a little bit higher, but is that a fair spot for the Crimson Tide based on what you've looked at?
I would probably say it's a little bit low, but it's all opinion based, right? I mean, there's a reason some people argue that preseason rankings shouldn't exist. You got to be able to see them on the field, especially in today's college football where so much of your roster is overturning. But, you know, I understand the question marks at quarterback and just the uncertainty there, but Texas is dealing with something similar, I guess. I mean, a lot of people have kind of already crowned Arch Manning, so I guess that's a little bit different. But George is dealing with a new quarterback, even though we got to see a little bit of Gunnar Stockton this past season. Not a whole lot of Ty Simpson up to this point. So I understand it. I understand that there are some concerns about Alabama's offensive line depth, but I think that the starting 5 is going to be really good. It's going to be one of the better offensive lines in college football. I think at receiver, they've upgraded. They have guys who better fit the Kalen DeBoer system. And, you know, I think on defense is going to be one of the best defenses in the country. So really, I understand there are what I would call questions. I wouldn't call them concerns. And that's, I think, a pretty key difference that you got to differentiate between when having the conversation. But I understand number 7. A lot of people will have them there. Some have them a little bit higher, 6, 5, 4. But yeah, I mean, I would say it's on the low end, but I would still say it's in a fair area.
Okay, you kind of touched on a couple of these. But if you ask 4 different people involved with Alabama football, what are the 4 best position groups? You might get 4 different answers. You might get receivers, offensive line, defensive backs. from all of your breakdowns and just everything you've heard and seen in the offseason, what do you think the strongest unit is right now for Alabama?
I would definitely say the secondary, with wide receiver being a close second. I like a lot of the other position groups. I can make arguments for a lot of them. But I just think in the secondary, I think you've got depth. I think you've got versatility. You've got different, prototypes as far as, like, you got the length, you got the physicality, and you've got extreme depth. Like, we're looking at guys like Dijon Lee and Cam Calhoun and Zay Mincy, potentially Red Morgan, Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. We're wondering, like, how do you get these guys onto the field? The starting group is, probably one of, if not the best returning tandem in the country at corner in Damani Jackson and Xavier Brown, but you also got one of the best safety tandems coming back in Keon Sabb and Bray Hubbard. And then you've got a guy, there it's the Husky position in Deshaun Jones. A lot of depth, a lot of talent, a lot of versatility. It's one of those things where it's actually kind of mind-blowing when you compare the questions going into last season about the secondary and the youth and how they've been able to shore up a lot of those concerns. So, I mean, it's certainly probably the most impressive group, if I had to say.
Is that one reason why Mbakwe wanted to change positions, in your opinion? I know it's an opinion-based thing, but he's sort of lost in translation for me right now.
I don't think that was I don't think that depth had anything to do with it. I think it more so he wanted to play on the offensive side. His best friend, Ryan Williams, he's watching him make all these plays and do all these things on that side of the football. It's a little bit more of a glorious position or glorified position. But, I also think it's not that he didn't get along with Mo Linguist, but I think that maybe the position coach element of it, Jamarcus Shepard's one of the best in the country as far as developing wide receivers. He was a extreme offensive talent and defensive talent coming out of high school, but I think it had a lot more to do with that. But I will say, I don't think it's depth because Alabama is really deep at wide receiver too, and where we're trying to figure out, okay, where are some of these other guys going to fit in compared to last season. I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Yeah, okay, does he get into the mix at wide receiver?
Well, that's what I was about to ask, because if they started tomorrow, right,
I never hear his name mentioned.
It's Williams, Bernard, Horton. If they played Florida State tomorrow, that's your three, right?
Yes, and I think Rico Scott, with where I have things currently, I think he's wide receiver 4. I think Jalen Hell is certainly going to be in the conversation. I think Latsier Brooks is certainly going to be in the conversation. Cole Adams is another one. I would probably say Jalen Mbakwe sitting down there at wide receiver 6 or 7. Now, granted, I mean, you can't expect a guy who had never played receiver, especially full-time, did a little bit of it in high school, but just the nuances of playing at a high level, especially in the SEC, that's going to take some time and some transition. So I want to kind of caution people as far as I don't think his expectations were I'm going to make this switch and I'm going to immediately be one of the top 3 or 4 guys. Now, granted, I mean, I don't know what necessarily that means as far as expectations for him, but I could see them getting him heavily involved on special teams as a return man. And then I could also see maybe him being a situational player on offense, getting him involved with, some manufactured touches, get his confidence up, and just let him continue to grow and develop behind the scenes. I know that based off of where he was trending last year as far as kind of being that cornerback 3 or at bare minimum cornerback 4, a lot of people were saying, well, you've kind of fallen even further down the depth chart with this move. But I think that's the side of the football that he wanted to play on. And I think he's got one of the absolute best in Ryan Williams, who's his best friend, who's kind of helping him through that transition. So, he's one of the most dynamic athletes in college football. There's no doubt about that. It's just a matter of him learning the nuances of playing the position at a high level. And as he continues to get comfortable, I think you might start seeing more of him. I just don't know if that's going to be at any point in 2025 or maybe at some point in 2026.
I don't know if this is the first time you've been asked this. It will not be the last, though. Ty Simpson, to you, better chance of being a 2020 Mac Jones or a 2016 Blake Barnett?
Oh, that's a way better chance, in my opinion, of being a 2020 Mac Jones. I really think he's taken a step forward. I think he's got a command of the offense. Like, you got to remember, Nick Saban was still saying like he wasn't nearly as committed to Blake Barnett back in 2016 during that offseason as Alabama has been this offseason to Ty Simpson. And I think that the spring told them a lot. Not saying that the quarterback battle is over necessarily, but I think they're very confident with how he's trending and developing. They like the way that he commands the offense. He's got the needed athleticism, the complementary athleticism, but he can also distribute the football really to all three levels. He can take advantage of all of your various styles of playmaker on offense. I just think they really like how he's come along. And as far as operating Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb's offense, I wouldn't say he's maybe necessarily a perfect fit, but I think he is a 10 times better fit than Jalen Milroe was. And that doesn't mean that he's a better quarterback necessarily, or he's going to be a better quarterback. But, I mean, I just think that the way he wins is how Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb want to win relative to what Jalen Milroe did and kind of his strength. So I think he's going to have a productive year because I think the offensive line is going to be really good. I think the run game, a lot more of a commitment to that with Ryan Grubb. You've got playmakers at wide receiver. You've got kind of a pass catch first tight end option there at the top of your depth chart in Josh Cuevas. I just think things are coming together really well around Ty Simpson, and I think that's going to make a difference on Saturdays.
I think Justice Haynes will be a star at Michigan. But behind Jam Miller, tell the Bama fans the talent in that room, because it looks to have 2 or 3 guys behind Jam Miller that are pretty dang good.
And that's kind of, I would say that's the biggest question mark on offense, in my opinion. And it's not that they don't have options. It's that we don't know what the pecking order is going to look like. Do they have anybody that is, even like a Jam Miller? I still think there's some questions with him, even though I think that, granted, if things start going right around him a little bit more, he can get better blocking, get to the second level a little bit more consistently before contact, do all those things. I think he could be a really good player in Alabama's offense. But I also think there are some other guys who can make some plays too. Richard Young right now is projected to be the running back too. Draylon Washington transfers in from Louisiana. I'll be curious to see where he fits into the pecking order. Daniel Hill is a guy who had generated a ton of buzz throughout the spring, to a point where I'm starting to wonder. I wouldn't be floored. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but I wouldn't be floored if at some point in 2025, Daniel Hill is the most consistent back that Alabama has as far as generating the consistent 4 and 5 yard pops, has a little bit more wiggle and juice to him than you would think for a guy his size. But if he ends up being, I wouldn't call it the workhorse back, but the lead back in Alabama's offense, I wouldn't be floored by that. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Once again, just saying that's the type of buzz that I've heard about this guy. And so, with him fitting into the mix, you got Kevin Riley, you got A.K. Deere, a top 70 recruit who's going to be a true freshman. He's got some work to do as far as learning the offense and kind of the nuances of playing the running back position and being effective on the college level. But he's got tremendous upside and talent. So I think they've definitely got a good stable of runners, but it's just a matter of determining who's going to end up emerging as, the 1, the 2, and the 3.
You just set a Daniel Hill scenario up. It's going to be Josh Jacobs 2018 all over for me again. I'm going to sit there and going, man, I like every time Jacobs touches the football. Why didn't he touch the football more? But they got other guys who are doing it. You've just painted that scenario with Daniel Hill for me.
That is a great comparison, Jim.
Don't sound shocked, Clint. Don't sound shocked.
I mean, it's just something that I hadn't thought of, but it's an excellent point. And really, I would say Damian Harris was the starter for the entirety of the season. And, that's why he wasn't really expected to be projected to go in the first round. Wasn't really expecting to leave early, but when he got his draft grade back, he decided to go ahead and leave. And the reason being is because he hadn't even been the starter yet. But every time he touched the football, anybody who was watching kind of knew Josh Jacobs was probably Alabama's best running back at that time. But there was a commitment. Damian Harris could have entered the NFL draft the year before, probably would have went somewhere in the same range that he ended up going. Elected to come back for his senior year. From Nick Saban's perspective, when you've got all these different players who are trying to make similar decisions, you want to encourage that behavior. As long as he's always been a supporter of if you're a first round projection, you need to go. But for anybody who's day 2 or day 3, he always recommends they come back. Damian Harris makes that decision, decides to come back. If you end up kind of making him second fiddle and he kind of fades a little bit, and then maybe his draft stock suffers as a result, then guys who are in similar positions moving forward might make a different decision. So, and it wasn't like there was a ton being sacrificed as far as Damian Harris being on the field relative to Josh Jacobs. So, I'm not saying that you're going to see the exact same situation play out this year with Jam Miller, but I wouldn't be shocked, if every time Daniel Hill touches the football, a lot of people walk away and say, man, I think he's Alabama's best running back right now. But Jam Miller's still, I think, going to be effective, and I still think he's going to be a massive part of the rotation. Wouldn't be surprised at all if he continues to be the guy who goes out there with the first team for the start of the game. But yeah, it's a good running back stable to have for sure.
2010 would have been questionable, but more than likely Nick Saban's final 16 seasons at Alabama, he would have made a current 12-team playoff. If Kalen DeBoer in year 2 after the 9-4 doesn't make the college football playoff, can you go on and say on June 30th that this season is a disaster?
Yes. And I'm not trying to add pressure to anybody. That's not the purpose, but you got to be realistic about how people are going to handle that type of result and the expectations with the fan base. I look at this roster, and what got me last year, I was high on Alabama as well, and I always try to look back and figure out, okay, where did I go wrong? And I think that I was so focused on the talent and then the coaching staff. I thought they had put together a phenomenal coaching staff and still do. But I was so focused on those two things. I'm like, it's one of the best rosters in college football from a talent standpoint. It's one of the best coaching staffs. It's one of the best brands. They're going to be one of the premier programs in college football, continue to be in 2024. And I just didn't take into account how different it was going to be going from Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer and how that transition could impact the results. And so this year, I think everybody is a lot more comfortable with how Kalen DeBoer likes to operate. I think everybody is completely bought in. I think the type of talent, wide receiver being a great example, really good talent like Kendrick Law, top 100 recruit. Kobe Prentice, top 100 recruit. Like, they had talent, quote unquote, at the wide receiver position last year. But I think when you replace the Kendrick Laws and the Kobe Prentices with the Isaiah Hortons and the Latsier Brooks and guys who can do a little bit more with the football in their hands, yards after catch, create separation downfield, a guy like Isaiah Horton bringing that size element, it fits Kalen DeBoer's offense way better than it did last year. So, I mean, I'm kind of going into this year saying, okay, everything I was saying last year, I'm just going to say this year, one of the best coaching staffs. I think it's one of the most talented rosters. I continue to think, obviously, it's one of the biggest brands, but the biggest difference is I think people are comfortable. I think they're confident, and I think that there's a continuity factor here that is going to really kind of separate them from a lot of the other schools that are competing for a national championship. So if you end up falling short of those expectations when everything should be going your way, if you continue to struggle against the 6-6 football teams and you're losing games you're not supposed to lose, I mean, it's going to really be hard to justify where things are heading. But he's recruiting at a phenomenal level. I mean, Alabama is right now, and I think the roster, whether it be transfer portal additions or the freshman class that they brought in, I think the evaluations are on point. I think they've solidified their depth at a lot of these positions. I just think they're in really good shape right now.
All right, you mentioned the recruiting. Clint Lamb, covercrimson.com. Before you go, obviously Alabama has done quite well over the last week or two, reeling in some 5 stars. Do you expect that to play out a little bit? Is Alabama going to remain hot, do you think? What do you anticipate? What is Alabama selling right now, part one? And part two, what do you anticipate happening over the next couple of weeks, you think?
Well, I think the number one thing is I think both the offense and the defense are both desirable schemes for recruits. Like if you're a defensive player, if you're Xavier Griffin, you watched how they used Jahad Campbell as far as the versatility, the defensive chess piece, moving him around, doing different things. That's desirable. You know, you look at like Cedarian Morgan and you look at what Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb have been able to do at the wide receiver position when they have their style or their types of players. Like it's an offense that will feature a big-bodied X. He will get targets and opportunities in the red zone and between the 20s. So I just think when you start going down the list, like Xavier Crowell being a 5-star running back, I think their running back room is really, really good right now. I think it's deep, but they don't have anybody with the talent, the pure talent of an Xavier Crowell. And if you've got that kind of guy or that kind of talent in your backfield, the things it's going to do as far as opening up the other aspects of the offense, which is what they want to kind of do primarily anyways, I think that's absolutely massive. So I think that there's a trust in where Kalen DeBoer is leading the program, and which is something he's always been able to establish relationships and trust out on the recruiting trail, get guys in there, and then you can also trust the coaching staff's development. I think that combination is really doing well for them right now, and I think, you know, as well as they've done up to this point, I think we've got another several days where you could end up seeing multiple more 5 stars, another top 100 recruit defensive lineman, Nolan Wilson, and then a couple of really underrated 3-star receivers, including Owen Cable, who's going to be announcing this afternoon. I think that they're kind of on a heater right now, and I don't think they're slowing down anytime soon.
Alabama fans want to hear that. You can get more from Clint, Mick, Jay Coker, the entire gang there, covercrimson.com. Great time to jump on board there with this recruiting heater going and follow all that in the message board area. Watch all the videos. They are doing content almost every single day. Covercrimson.com, covercrimson.com, where you can go sign up there. Follow Clint on Twitter at Clint R. Lamb. Follow him on social media and get some updates from that as well as he's breaking down all these guys as they commit to Alabama. Clint, thank you very much for the time. Have a great 4th. Always great talking with you.
Absolutely good talking to you guys.
All right, buddy. Take care. Clint Lamb with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
And the show being brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. It's time for our Bo Tender moment of the day before we get back to some football conversation here. Tell us about Bojangles.
You can go try one of your local Bojangles there. From Sweet to Heat, they've got 7 sauces that add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing's going to pair better with those sauces than hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard. You want to add some tang, try barbecue. You want some heat, creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. Smooth and creamy. How about that house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, classic Bo sauce, ready and waiting. Head to Bojangles. Order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's Bo time.
This comes from our buddy, friend of the show, Dan Orlovsky's social media platform, Twitter and Instagram. He posted this video of this dog. I don't know if it's Dan's dog or a neighbor's dog, but refuses to let the balloon drill end. How relaxing is it to watch this dog just nonstop with this balloon? Even kid assisted here. Watch this. Now, it makes it a little bit more difficult for the dog.
Oh, no, we got to
run. But the
run.
dog chases it down and is relentless. This dog loves the balloon aspect. This kid's going to really challenge the dog. Watch the effort here.
And now the fat, out-of-shape dog's going to try to go over there and help out.
Boom. Get a little leap there. Oh, that's impossible to get off
too
the
low,
ground.
too low.
No,
I dig.
Nope,
Big save.
Nope. Still up.
Oh,
Still
we're up. We're
Look
up.
at that
We're
dog.
up.
That's unbelievable.
What a big save.
Yeah.
How good is that
I
dog?
like that the kids had zero interest. The dog was just minding his own business doing it.
It's almost like the dog should paw the kid and push it down.
Get out of the way.
Just relaxing suburb video there.
That
How about
is.
that dog? What's the breed, you think? You got a good guess?
Looks like it's got boxer in it, 100%, but
really?
not as it's got some boxer. It's got the dog tail, so it's probably a purebred if it's got the dog tail.
Oh wow!
I would love
say
the
it's
commitment
boxer.
to finishing the drill, as you would expect in the Orlovsky scheme of things. Finishing the drill there. That's our Bojangles tender moment of the day. Today, all the show's also brought to you by our friends at Hemphill. They bring you Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com, where baseball continues tonight.
Yeah, 2 plays up and available right now, including a free play every single day at lanceslock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trust since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling. Any of those issues arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
We lost a baseball great over the weekend, a Hall of Famer in Dave Parker. He passed away at the age of 74. There you see Big Dave Parker with the We Are Family Pirates in 1979.
The Cobra, great nickname, by the way.
The Cobra, big guy, man. I'd watch him step into the batter's box back then compared to other players, and he looked like a football player.
I will still say this. I think he's got the best arm I've seen from the outfield.
Ever.
So he could gun a guy down?
Oh.
I didn't get to see much Dave Parker.
Cobra would have a hose.
Touch before my time.
His heyday was in 1977 through 79. He was part of the 79 World Champions with Willie Stargell in Pittsburgh there when they beat the Orioles.
Was that the We Are Family Pirates?
Yeah, We Are Family. And then later on won his second World Series as a role player for the 89 A's over the Giants in the Earthquake Series.
That's where I remember him the most, yeah.
Yeah, and he's known for, what do you think his place in history is?
Dave Parker?
Yeah. Now he was a two-time World Series champion, won a two batting titles, in fact, while he was at Pittsburgh 11 years. But in 1979, he was the first Major League Baseball player to make $1 million a year.
Wow.
Really? So Dave Parker broke the $1 million mark.
Yeah, he was the first one to make $1 million a year. He 5-year, $5 million contract.
19 years, 339 home runs, 290 average. guess he's not in the Hall of Fame, is he?
Oh, already in, yeah.
Oh, he's Hall of Fame?
Yeah. Oh, no, excuse me. Will go into the Hall of Fame on July 27th. Was voted in this past year.
So he doesn't get to live.
Doesn't get to make the speech.
That is sad.
At Cooperstown.
That's a little surprise. First of all, I remember him being a great player. The numbers don't necessarily back it up. But how is he just going into the Hall this late after his...
I guess the Veterans Committee,
Veterans Committee voted him in. Two-time World Series, two-time batting champions, two-time World Series champion, 11 years.
How do you think he's got his nickname?
All-Stars.
The Cobra.
I thought he had a long tongue.
I think he got it because he was a quick swing, quick strike.
Do you know?
Yeah, it says here that Bob Prince, the voice of the Pittsburgh Pirates, gave him that because it was illustrating his explosive power at the plate and his high-speed reflexes.
Okay. Not a guess that's how you got the nickname the Cobra, but all right, it's good.
I mean, if
you did.
If Kent Tacova would have said, "Hey, look, this guy in the shower needs 2 towels," then we could understand where the Cobra came from.
The great Dave Parker, dead at the age of 74. Also lost D. Wayne Lucas, horse trainer, who won $301 million. This is like the awards show where all the people that passed away. D. Wayne Lucas. Memorial. I had a chance to meet him when I worked in Lexington. He was 89. Wasn't always the nicest guy. D. Wayne Lucas won $301 million.
Just in the Derby?
No, in earnings as winning races as a trainer. Now, the trainer doesn't get the biggest cut, you know?
Right.
But he had $301 million in earnings.
But if you had $301 million in earnings, there's no telling what the stud fees were.
Yeah, and he got paid to be the trainer. That's just his cut of the winnings.
Right.
Won a lot of races. 15 Triple Crown winners, 20 Breeder Cup winners. He is second only to Bob Baffert in Triple Crown winners there, but D. Wayne Lucas passing away. And while we're in the state of Kentucky, Tyler, do you have the video of the General Lee replica?
I'm going to need some explanation here.
I got it all for you here.
The crowd at this blew me away.
Well,
go ahead.
And I was just going to say, and after we see the video, like, I almost thought it was AI.
I know.
But, yeah.
The crowd blows me away here.
Yeah, Somerset, Kentucky is the location here. Close to 30,000 fans there to see it, and it was just a guy who works there in Somerset, had a replica of it's a 1969 Dodge Charger.
Had being a key word.
And it was 25 years, the anniversary of the last Dukes of Hazzard on television, and they decided when that anniversary popped up, let's do something I've always wanted to do, is jump the fountain in the town square in Somerset, Kentucky.
This thing could have my question is, with liability, everything, this tragically could have gone bad.
Could have, because look at all
the people. Yeah.
The accelerator sticks when you land. And
I know.
It's chaos.
I mean, I know you've got the retaining walls there, but if you go a little left or a little right too, you're landing in the crowd.
Yeah, but if you go 100 miles an hour, the accelerator sticks, at least pieces of that car is going to fly into the crowd.
They go straight through the Powerade there.
There was one guy running. Did you see that?
No, he's on the security team, Brown.
Yeah,
you can tell by the jorts.
Yeah. Is that the security uniform?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Hey, did you notice when the Dukes of Hazzard to Waylon Jennings, when they would jump, the doors never blew off?
No, they did not.
Boom. That's a hard hit too, boys.
Yeah.
Had you ever seen the final scene of Dukes of Hazzard? Did you know how that show ended?
You know
I
what?
love the guy running up at the end. It gets me every time.
I don't remember how it ended.
Do you remember, Jim?
It's a shootout at the.
Okay.
It's a shootout where he's got all the blue stick. No, that's a
No.
It's Breaking Bad.
Boss Hog goes in with he's got a vest with detonation on it.
No.
Blows up the crow's nest.
I never saw this, and it popped up on TikTok not long ago. They go to the boar's nest, and everybody's there, and Roscoe has to tell Uncle Jesse that he was chasing the boys on a back road, and they ran off in a lake, and the car never came back up.
No, it's not.
100%. Somebody weigh in the chat room if you guys remember this. I never
What
remember
a
watching.
downer.
I know.
Did they pour one out for Bo and Luke?
Yeah.
So, and the scenario is that Bo and Luke died?
That was on TikTok. It said the final scene of the Dukes of Hazzard.
But still, it's just a story being recounted.
Yeah,
You don't see
that can't be true.
I don't believe that.
I'm going to go to LT's favorite AI real quick.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all.
How did Dukes of Hazzard end?
It's too fun-loving show. I mean,
well, I agree with you.
Now
That's
there
why
could be movies.
Now,
and
a year after the
I was
show,
so surprised.
it looked like Daisy was pulled out of a creek.
Wow. Daisy was hot in my time, man. I don't know what you're talking
had
about.
to do some
she
hazard
was in your time.
Final episode titled Opening Night at the Boar's Nest didn't feature a major series finale plot resolution. It focused on a talent show at the Boar's Nest, Brownie, with Roscoe and Boss Hogg participate in a magic trick. The episode also involves some criminals who kidnap Boss Hogg, leading to a rescue by Bo and Luke. The episode ends with Boss Hogg completing the magic trick, much to Roscoe's delight.
I'm glad they were shutting it down.
I was about to say, did they run out of maybe storylines? The writers are like, man, I don't know what to do.
The last scene shows the cast laughing together on stage, followed by a final shot of Bo and Luke driving off in the General Lee.
Okay.
So nothing of what you said there according to AI.
Hey, I like that, though. They should have done that.
Well, that scene existed now. Maybe Bo and Luke swam to their safety. I don't know. But that scene existed somewhere. And Uncle Jesse, Denver Pyle, he's almost inconsolable. And so is Roscoe. Roscoe's upset about it, too. And he tells him, he's like, Jesse, you should know, I enjoyed chasing those boys, and I think they enjoyed me chasing them. That's how he tries to console Uncle Jesse. And Jesse didn't want to hear it.
So you sure that wasn't AI?
No, it's not AI, no.
Now, is Denver Pyle still alive?
I think Denver Pyle's dead.
That was a joke.
Yeah, a long time.
I'll tell you what, the biggest upset Leighton and I watched, she's been wanting to see Vertigo. Great film from Hitchcock. You've probably seen it, right? 1958. Yeah. But I told her the lead in there with Jimmy Stewart is Kim Novak. And I was like, she's still alive. And she was like, there is no way. And I'm like,
there's no way.
She is still alive, yeah.
By the way, on the AI here, it says no major resolution in the final episode. Was there any resolutions ever in Duke's Massacre?
Basically, they just got chased around in the country.
Yeah. All right. That's a little walk down memory lane. We got our 4 downs coming up on the other side. The show being brought to you today by our friends at A+, the people that helped Brownie and LT change their house. And then we'll get the 4 downs and a lot more, including still to come, Nick Saban and Ty Simpson, both in the state of Louisiana this weekend.
Brad Bell is the guy that redid the master bath in the Brown home. When we bought our house back in 2015, my wife and I were actually talking about this weekend. We've been in our house for a decade now. One thing we knew we wanted to do was replace the master bath. Master bath, kitchen, master bedroom, closets. Those are massive rooms in your house because you spend a lot of time in those rooms. And when you go to sell your house, you can make some of the money back when you redo those rooms and get them updated. Well, that's what Brad Bell specializes in. That's not to say it's all he does, but it is certainly what he specializes in. So if you're like us and you were tired of that outdated master bath or it's not functional anymore, you want an updated kitchen, master bedroom, closet, call Brad Bell and get him to work for you. 205-422-1758. That is 205-422-1758. You could see more online, alabamabathremodels.com. alabamabathremodels.com. That is Brad Bell's website. See all the before and afters, all the contact info, alabamabathremodels.com. Tell Brad Bell, I want that bathroom like the Browns have. It's kind of a weird thing to tell somebody when you call him, but he'll know what you're talking about. 205-422-1758, 205-422-1758. It's Brad Bell.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the next round.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
F1 movie debut in America, $55.6 million US dollars. Good? Is that good? Okay.
It is for Apple. I mean, this is their biggest commercial hit so far. They don't mind really the money game in this. They just want to be a player in the entertainment industry. But I would expect a movie of this quality to open up to about $80 million.
Yeah, I mean, because the budget. I mean, they got some catching up to do.
$300 million budget, which means they need to make $600 million on this just to break even.
The meltdown today at 2 o'clock. More entertainment, pop culture stuff all the time. Chase Elliott wins over in Atlanta, his home track. By the way, 23-car crash. It's a restrictor plate track now, not the same width or high banks they have at Talladega or Daytona. They got a little crunched up with a big one of their own, about 69 laps into that race. We'll get to four downs here in just a second, right after LT tells us about the great folks at Woodhouse Day Spa.
Hey, the gift of relaxation, you can get it from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Stop in to the Summit Shopping Centers. The location is completely renovated, absolutely beautiful. Go see Stuart and the great staff. You can pick up gift cards right there. Also, other great accessories like candles, blankets, robes, things like that. Just great little gift items. But you can order gifts 24/7 online too, and the gift cards at birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Make sure you tell Stuart and the great staff Next Round sent you. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including the massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, order online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
First down.
Oh, let's see here. Alabama or the Chiefs, more total wins in 2025?
I think I heard you. I get Alabama's postseason.
You get Alabama's postseason, yes.
Yeah, Alabama.
I think I would take Alabama too. I mean, I think Alabama's going to be really, really good. I think Jim told you. Did you tell him where? What are you laughing at? Why can I not say anything on the show? I can't say anything without
Brown
you laughing
has
at me.
him fourth.
Is that not really good?
Yes.
That's really good.
Well, why are you laughing at me?
Because LT has them sixth. But Brown thinks they're going to be really, really good. LT thinks they're going to be bad at 6.
I didn't say that.
They're horrible at 7. 8 for Forrester, 9 for Taylor now. Auburn Taylor's got him 9th. Yeah.
I mean, just because I say I think they're going to be really good is no commentary on where the rest of you numbskulls have them. Numbskull's a very 80s word. I know. You laugh at everything I say.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, I think 10-2 is the number in the regular season. And, I mean, if the Chiefs were to go 10-7, that would be a massive disappointment, right?
Yeah, I think you almost don't even have to give Alabama the postseason to beat the Chiefs this year. You've sold me on the Chiefs falling back to about a 10-7, 11-6 type team. Alabama could be 11-1.
15-2 last year, so it would be a massive drop.
Yeah,
I think they're probably 11-6 because you still have Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
I think Alabama will have to do a little work in the postseason to get there, but I'm going to lean Alabama.
Yeah, I would go Alabama in this one.
I'm going to go Alabama with the postseason. I mean, when you talk about the Chiefs, they still have problems at 1 tackle, maybe at 2 tackles.
Did draft tackles, so we're
going to throw a rookie out there, but you did.
We'll see.
It's a.
I just think that division, from the jump with Bo Nix, you already had a good defense with Sean Payton. What you are building right now with Harbaugh and the Chargers, that division's got really difficult. And Pete Carroll will win a game or 2 just himself.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's everything ends at some point, except for LeBron James's career.
Second down.
What happens first? Kyle Shanahan wins a Super Bowl or Kalen DeBoer wins a national championship?
I would take DeBoer in this race. I just feel like
I just can't believe Shanahan wasn't one.
I know he hasn't, and that's the problem. Is I feel like their window may have closed, even though they've signed their quarterback. I think they made a big mistake in signing that quarterback to the deal they did, and I think the window's starting to close on that franchise in terms of winning the Super Bowl.
I agree with all that. Seems like a little shines off of who is it? Lynch in the front office.
John Lynch.
His name? John Lynch.
Yeah.
Seems like a little shines off of his ability to put together an elite roster and keep everybody happy. Now
they've only had one bad year last year, and it was because of they were devastated by injuries.
I know.
They've aged out, and then you've seen some people get disgruntled as they try to keep that team together. Debo got disgruntled. Now where is he going to be? Washington. He's at Washington.
What scares me the
Ayuk
most
was disgruntled.
He wanted traded.
You have now paid elite money to Mr. Irrelevant.
And that's what I was going to ask you, because you say, well, they've only had one bad year. But if I told you that he gets this contract and you've seen his best years, that's not going to surprise you.
No. And again, because you're paying him $50+ million a year, you've got to cut other areas.
Well, we always said Brock Purdy was that good because of the roster.
That's right.
The talent that was around
Samuel,
him.
Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, because
Kittle.
of the money they've got invested, he is going to have to play elite for them to be elite.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to happen. So I would agree with you guys. I think it is inevitable. I do think Shanahan's a hell of a coach. I do think it's inevitable that DeBoer will win a national championship.
You call that inevitable?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's that good of a coach, and you pair that with an elite program. I mean, of course, I said that with Brian Kelly.
You did.
Could Shanahan end up somewhere else? Do you ever leave and go somewhere else in the NFL?
I think
him and Lynch are paired up pretty good.
But I think if he got fired, to your point, Jim, there are a lot of franchises that would hire him as head coach because of his offensive play calling.
Just don't. It's hard to imagine him ever getting fired, though. I'm just saying at some point you get tired of one organization, you go do it somewhere else.
I know he's just kicking his ass because and maybe he thinks he's got that quarterback now in Brock Purdy, but you look at a guy like Dan Quinn who just kind of fell into Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels is going to be so freaking good. Like, Jaden Daniels might end up being the best quarterback in the league this year.
I mean, they fell into Brock Purdy.
But different kind of fall in.
We credit them for Brock Purdy, but they are these same people.
They got Brock Purdy being good. Washington got Jaden Daniels being awful.
Like, John Lynch gets credited for Brock Purdy, but he's the same one, right, that drafted Trey Lance, which is why Brock Purdy was starting, is because Trey Lance, you drafted as a top 5 pick or wherever it was, in the top 10 sucked.
Yeah, Brock actually saved them all the embarrassment.
There's no doubt. And they got the absolute NFL cheat code where you can win big with a quarterback on his rookie deal. If you can ever do that in the NFL, you have got a 3 or 4 year cheat code, and they could not take advantage of it by winning the Lombardi.
Third down.
Oh, Mike Tyson, 59 years old today. If I asked you ultimately better career, Mike Tyson or Mike Trout?
God, I'd guess older. Only 59.
Oh, I bet that body's a lot older than 59, though.
Okay, what was the question? Mike Tyson or what now?
Mike Trout.
I got to go Tyson. Trout's had a good career, but and it's not all his fault. But what rings does Trout have?
I mean, that's the problem. Is like Trout's been incredible, but there's no postseason success at all, and he's been buried in the worst big market team you could be buried in.
And Tyson was a heavyweight champion of the world, and his star, while it has faded, is not completely dim even at this age. I mean, Mike Tyson.
I think the star is, or at least the. I mean, his Q rating is probably as big as it was when he was heavyweight champion, just because of so many things that have been done with Mike Tyson.
I mean, how many people, it crashed, was it Netflix that showed the boxing match?
Yeah.
It crashed Netflix.
By the way, you can still get that. Like, I was going through Netflix over the weekend. And
Why would you watch it?
Yeah, the Paul Tyson fight. I'm like, who in the hell would go back and watch
that
this?
That was one of the worst fights I've ever seen. But the whole reason, Jim, Netflix crashed wasn't because of Paul, it was because of Tyson. Everybody our age was hoping we could get one more glimpse of Mike Tyson in the ring, and it was a very sad glimpse. Actually, we saw his ass more than we saw anything. We got a very long set shot of his bare butt, and that was like the highlight of the night for Mike Tyson.
He has been one of the best ever at stealing money from us, hoping to see something great. You know, the Peter McNeely, that cash grab.
I paid for it.
Oh, yeah, I did
I was
too.
in a group that paid for it.
Buster Only always told us Mike Trout was trending to be one of the greatest of all time. And his injuries have slowed that down a little bit. But where is Trout right now? How old is he?
Oh, Trout is probably 35.
Oh, he's that old now?
Yeah. Dude, Trout's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, he's on my fantasy baseball team coming off of a 60-day DL, and now,
I'm guessing 35.
He's starting to tear it up. I mean, he's been playing a long time. I don't know his age.
35 would put him 1990?
He is 33. Yep, and will be 34 in August.
So, lifetime.
I mean, Trout's numbers
297
are crazy.
Hitter.
Great.
Almost 1,000 runs batted in.
Great.
You have to give me his home. Give me a second on his home runs.
11-time All-Star, 3-time American League MVP.
391 home runs, so he'll be a 400 home run guy. He'll be a 1,000 RBI guy. And he'll be a lifetime, he's lifetime 297 right now, so he'll be a lifetime 290-ish hitter. I mean, this day and age, that's Lock Hall of Fame now. That's first ballot Hall of Fame numbers, right?
Probably over his career, I've only seen 20 games of Mike Trout.
I know. I never watched the guy play.
But I would say that he's one of the 10 greatest that maybe I've ever seen.
You think the Angels do you mean the worst big market pro baseball team or just franchise?
I'm talking about like where you go to be dead and buried. People completely forget you.
Would you put the Clippers in there, or are you just saying baseball?
Baseball, just because you still have a face or two of the Clippers, whether it was Kawhi or Paul George, you still recognize these guys. Like the Angels are just that big market team that nobody, like Clippers might be talked about in regards of the Donald Sterling controversy, just how bad they've been for years, but the Angels are just a team nobody ever talks about.
But the Angels, they got Albert Pujols as a free agent when Pujols was at the top of his game. And it was like Pujols disappeared. They get Anthony Rendon when Anthony Rendon was the hottest free agent in all of baseball. I don't even know if that guy's still playing. Is he playing right now, Anthony Rendon?
I don't think so.
It's just like anytime they go get a big name free agent, he just disappears out there. It's like he falls off into the Pacific. And Trout was, even though he's not a big-time free agent, they've had him his entire career. He feels the same way.
That franchise, the stadium's sort of out of the way.
It is. Wow. Well, you've passed it, right?
Fake rocks.
It's right out by Disneyland, isn't it?
So it's right on the 405.
Yeah.
I've never been to that one, but I went to the old Big A. And, boy, it was a dump. Anaheim is talking about a boring-ass city.
Yeah.
It seems
Fourth down.
Michael Phelps, 40 years old today. If I asked you ultimately the better career, Michael Phelps or Caitlin Clark?
Are you kidding me?
Greatest swimmer, greatest women's basketball player of all time.
What am I missing here? Michael Phelps might be the greatest Olympian in the history of the Olympics.
I know, but where are the Olympics right now? That's my whole thing.
Well, they are
I mean, does anybody watch them?
Well, I don't know, but
I literally did not watch 1 minute of the Olympics.
I don't watch a ton of Olympics either, but
I don't watch any WNBA.
I know. I was about to say.
When's the last time was the Olympics? When was it last one?
2000.
I thought it was last year, wasn't it?
Was that? I thought it was 2 years ago.
I don't know.
It was even years, right? So it would have been.
I've watched more Caitlin Clark. Now, when Michael Phelps,
it's every four.
When he was crushing it,
we still alternate him every 2 years, like a
winter, summer. I think so. Yeah.
Was Phelps 2012 when he crushed it?
He did it for 4 Olympics.
For like 4 straight
that
Olympics.
last one, like the London Olympics, or whatever, where he was just. They were throwing him out like Pez.
Yeah.
I was all in on that one. He is the greatest Olympian of all time. I don't think there's any doubt.
Not just American, greatest Olympian, period.
But Caitlin Clark has gotten so good. The WNBA is expanding. They're adding Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly in the next 5 years.
She's going to change that league. I saw this is an amazing stat. Total All-Star votes. She's like dominating in the total All-Star votes, right?
She's got every one of them.
So much so she's a captain.
Yeah. The next closest voter, and this is the Caitlin Clark impact on the WNBA. The next closest person has like 1.7 million
votes. Is it Sophie Cunningham?
I don't know who it is. It's got 1.7 million votes. And I think I read that was the total, that number was the total of the highest 6 vote getters combined last year. So in 1 year, Caitlin Clark being in the league has raised their...
Just the number of people voting.
Just the number of people voting, that the second place voter has as many votes as the top 5 combined last year. And then Caitlin Clark is in first place by like a solar system in voting. It's insane what she's done for that sport.
You scoffed at the question, but do you guys not think it's a legit question?
He keeps talking. He's going to talk himself into Caitlin Clark.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not.
But Caitlin Clark is so prevalent right now with endorsements, and I don't think those are going anywhere for the next 5+ years.
She's going to be the greatest women's basketball player ever to play.
Yes.
And he is the greatest Olympian of all time. I don't know how you break the tie there, but to me, Michael Phelps is the answer.
God, if they had a kid, though, how massive would the kid be?
And how athletic. Freaking athletic.
Yeah.
Jeremy
probably
says,
play the piano.
Jeremy says 23 golds, 28 total for Phelps.
Yeah. Amazing. Love to watch him swim.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Loved when he would anchor or be parts of the relay team. Those are always fun,
Especially
too.
against France.
That's our 4 downs today, brought to you in part by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. One more thing to get to before we get to the top of the hour. Our friends at UCA want to make sure that you're on top of your health. Early detection so important. Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. Don't forget, at UCA, they take care of your prostate health, all the way down to kidney stones, everything in between. If you're at that point, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who I play poker with, and he was like, man, maybe time to start thinking about the old vasectomy. And I said, hey, Urology Centers of Alabama. There's 16 locations, one close to you. Schedule that appointment today, 205-930-0920. Urology
Did he say that to you, or did you say that to him?
It was actually his dad mentioned it to him. We were joking about him coming to play poker. And
I was about to say that ship sailed for you, hadn't it?
And I was like, anything that keeps I'm old. I've had a vasectomy a long time ago. But with the friend, as I said in the spot there, he's got a lot of, seems like he has is it 3 kids that our buddy has?
No, it's more than that.
Okay, more than that.
Oh, he's waiting too long.
3 since I've known him.
He's waited too long.
3 in the 4 years I've known him. Good dude. Brian out there. Always great with cars, too. He's probably under one listening to us right now.
Can't afford to get them serviced. Got to fix them himself. Right?
No, he owns a repair shop. What's that thing called? The lift? Is it just a lift? Do they have a fancy name for it?
It's called a car lift.
He was under that thing with one of those big fans blowing. Those fans, better than air conditioning on a hot day outside. You walk in front of the fan, and it's hot, hot, hot. And then you step in front of that fan, and that fan is just perfect enough. It's like shade, electric shade.
But boy, if it gets that hot air and blows it on you.
Oh, but I'll tell you, like if you're on a golf course around here that's got bent grass greens and they have to have the fans running,
you stand in front of those things.
Stand in front of one of those things.
Same impact.
That thing is putting out some air, and it hits what it does is it hits your sweaty shirt.
That's exactly
and
right.
It's almost like God's air conditioning. Yeah. You're like, oh, I feel good.
And
now.
if anybody asks you to say, my balls is hot.
My balls is hot.
It's just right there.
I understand.
All right, one more thing to get to here before we get to the top of the hour. Jabari Smith Jr., remember that name?
Oh, yeah.
He signs a 5-year, $122 million extension to his deal with the Houston Rockets. And everybody seemed surprised in the industry about this because they thought maybe he was going to be the piece that Houston could trade like to the L.A. Lakers or what. But Jabari, the Auburn star, gets the 5-year, $122 million deal that Houston's wanting to hang on to.
25 a year. He's been good. He hasn't been great. But, he is the only guy coming out of the 2022 draft that has 2,500 points, 1,500 rebounds, was hampered a little bit with an injury, been a little inconsistent shooting it. But still, man, for him to go on a cash in 3 years on $25 million a year, that's strong.
Now, LeBron James opted into the final year of his deal this weekend, $52.6 million. It's a big deal because he's never opted into a final year of the contract. It's always been renegotiated and extended to bigger deals. So many people are saying this could be that he's opted into this final year because it's going to be his final year.
Well, and a couple of things, like the Lakers didn't want to give him more than the final year. So there are some people that believe LeBron is not 100% happy, but he's got a no-trade clause. So, how many people are going to give the assets to the Lakers that they would need to get for LeBron? How many different places would LeBron want to go?
I don't know where you would go. He's played with his son now, so we've done that, right? So he doesn't have to go somewhere to pull that off.
He'd want to go win, so he would go to the Rockets.
Well, but the Lakers are more ready to win right now. LeBron is still one of the top 10 players in the NBA, and you've got, a top 5 guy in Luka. So you've got enough pieces to make it interesting in the West.
This will be his 23rd year at the age of 40, which will pass Vince Carter's record of 22 years in the league. And LeBron is 49 games shy of breaking Robert Parrish's record of 1,611 games. So he's 49 games away from being longest in years and most games played in NBA history. So LeBron's going to chase that down. His career has now covered 7 presidential terms.
I'll say this about LeBron.
That's pretty crazy.
I'm not a big fan. I'm a fan of his game, his commitment to the game. But I don't think anybody has exceeded or lived up to and exceeded expectations based on the pressure that LeBron James has. You give me any other scenario.
I agree.
Like Tiger had some expectations, but golf is such an unknown thing when you go from...
Well, people thought Tiger would be the greatest, and some argue he is, right? But LeBron was supposed to be the next Jordan.
Oh, it's a short list. Tiger, I think, lived up to it. LeBron...
Yeah, Jordan did not have
Messi.
Jordan did not have those type of expectations coming out of North Carolina.
Saban in coaching.
Gretzky.
Was he?
I don't remember these guys being hyped up when they were before they ever turned professional.
I think Messi was. Yeah.
Messi was in ESPN Next, and he was labeled there as he's going to be the future of soccer. Gretzky, even before you had social media and the internet, was a teenager signed to the, I think it was the Indianapolis Racers when he was 17 in the World Hockey Association, then to the Edmonton Oilers. And he was playing when he was 17. He was going to be great, and he lived up to it. Those probably are the only 4 I can think of right now.
Do we have those expectations for Ken Griffey Jr.?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think we did.
And I don't know that he lived up to them primarily because of injury. It really wasn't.
When he wasn't injured, when he played, though,
he was
in that list. Yeah.
Would you guys agree that Saban outpaced expectations?
Yes. Well, because the expectation at Alabama was this guy's a job jumper. He's going to be at Alabama 5 years max. He'll probably win a national championship and go elsewhere.
That's what I thought.
And he finished his career there and dominated.
More on Saban coming up on the other side of the top of the hour here. 1 more hour to go on the show. Being brought to you today by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. Tell us about New York Butcher. That'll get us to the final hour.
Great place to go pick up the incredible meats from the steaks, the ribs, the chicken, the pork, all the fresh in-house sides made right there on a daily basis, from the baked beans, the goat cheese mash, potatoes, the mac and cheese, just fantastic stuff. An incredible selection of fine wines and desserts, rare quality, well-done service. And don't forget, with the 4th coming up this week, you can pre-order the Boston butt, fully cooked, hickory smoked. You can pick it up on the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. Reservations are required. Either location is the original Cava Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming Alabama basketball painting, Buzzer Beater. Closing out the regular season, Alabama and Auburn faced off in a top 10 matchup. With less than 1 second remaining in overtime and the game tied at 91, Mark Sears launched a 15-foot floater that sealed the Tide's victory. Visit DanielMooreArt.com and see the artist's preliminary sketch of this historic Bama win. And take advantage of special pre-production pricing for Buzzer Beater.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show, big NFL story, has a former Alabama championship winner Mika Fitzpatrick going to Browns Dolphins, who drafted him out of Alabama.
That is correct. Number 11, I think. He was a very high pick by Miami.
New Jersey guy who Nick Saban brought down, one of the best DBs to play in Alabama history, and has always been a star in the NFL, but not really well heralded by the fans, it seems like, because of Miami and Pittsburgh. When he was there, they haven't really done a ton when it comes to Super Bowls or anything. But he's on his way back. Jalen Ramsey's on his way to Pittsburgh, and that is a big story developing there. We're about to talk about a college football story involving a quarterback that would shake up the Big 12 race if he follows through with a threat. Friends at Champy's brings you this hour. Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Always there for some great food. Had some friends reach out on social media, said they had a family member over from England visiting.
Governor.
And they took him down right there to Highway 119 in Alabaster and introduced him to Champy's. And they couldn't believe they never had tamales before, that you didn't eat the husk, the outside. They kept wanting to. We're not supposed to eat the husk. No, you're not supposed to. Champy's Chicken, Champy'sChicken.com. Don't eat the husk, but try everything else they have on the menu there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go see Sterling and the crew there. All right. So BYU's quarterback is Jake Retzlaff. He's a good one, but he is caught up in a sexual assault lawsuit that is now got a developing twist to it. Brownie, update us on that, and then I'll backtrack on everything else that's going on.
Yeah. The civil lawsuit accusing BYU quarterback Jake Retzlaff of rape will be dismissed after attorneys for both sides filed a joint motion on Monday. It is dismissed with prejudice, it will be, the judge has to sign off on this, will be dismissed with prejudice, which means, according to legal analysts, it cannot be filed again. So this would appear to be the end of the road for the lawsuit that accuses the potentially former BYU quarterback of rape.
Civil lawsuit there.
That is correct.
And the alleged rape happened in 2023. He says it was consensual, which gets into his problems with BYU, which his confession of consensual premarital sex violates their honor code, to which Pete Thamel and others were reporting were going to lead to a 7-game suspension this year for BYU's quarterback. And Jake Retzlaff has told people he is going to put his name into the transfer portal as early as today. He's already got his degree from BYU. So he could be a grad transfer, he could be a portal transfer, but the reports are he doesn't want to do the suspension. He could be leaving. I think he's playing a game of chicken with BYU, having them to pull back on this suspension, this honor code. What do you think of this?
I don't think they can, based on their. First of all, this is the most outlandish reason anybody's ever transferred.
I would agree, because he had sex.
Because he had sex. Like if people that have premarital sex in Provo were suspended from their teams, they wouldn't be able to field a team in any sport.
Probably not.
A couple of high-profile athletes have faced this suspension or been kicked off the team. They list them in the article, a basketball player, maybe two basketball players.
The basketball player, and I cannot remember his name for my life, but that BYU was really good that year. They were a highly ranked team.
Oh, my gosh. I knew
who this was. If you say his name, I'll remember it, Lance, but I cannot say it off the top of my head. And that BYU was really good when it happened.
Brandon.
Yeah, you're on the – anyway. I got to backtrack to this.
Do you think this is ironic that it comes from a school of a dude that had 56 wives?
Yeah, that is odd.
And 315 grandchildren. I'm not making that up. He had 315 grandchildren.
Weird where we've chosen to draw lines here at Brigham Young.
We're going to practice some blood atonement, but you know what?
Yeah.
You bang a 19-year-old, your ass ain't playing football.
So, Jim, you think that he's trying to get an actual religion to change their honor code?
The school to change the enforcement of the honor code.
Well, the school is the religion.
Yeah, seven-game suspension is what he's looking at, according to those close to the program in the report. Why 7 games? Why not the whole season? Why not kick him off the team like they have in the past? I would say, you guys said it yourself, I didn't have BYU in my top 25. You guys did.
Oh, I think they could win the Big 12.
And you actually, both of you said, if this whole Retzlaff thing falls apart, I'm going to be wrong. I would like to change who I think wins the Big 12 at that point. Well, here it is, a chance it falls apart. I would say the folks at BYU also knows that this thing falls apart without Jake Retzlaff as their quarterback.
Yeah, I just wonder how I guess with the legal ramifications, you really can't get in front of this thing. Like
you enforce your own honor code.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. But if you pull this back for Retzlaff, then you're opening up. I mean, you might as well not have an honor code.
Yeah, you end the honor code if you change it
would
right
have
now.
to.
Because Jake Ratzlaff entered BYU knowing that if he was either caught or admitted to premarital sex, he faced honor code punishment, right? He did not. This is no surprise. So as crazy as it sounds, he signed up for this. As crazy as this punishment sounds, he signed up for this.
But I think everybody does it with a wink and a nod. And look, I mean, could it sooner or later, could you get rid of the honor code? And here's why I would ask. I don't know much about the Mormon religion. But is it frowned upon now if you have 56 wives?
I really don't know. I don't know much
And the
about
only
it.
reason I'm asking that, because if it was kind of normal behavior back when Brigham Young was doing it, but it's not now, then we have actually.
So you're saying
things
if you,
have changed.
if you
so why
change on
can't?
that,
why can't you change a little bit on the honor code?
I don't know, but I'm just saying if you back off the honor code for this guy, you have no honor code. So either, to me, Jim, either BYU's got to say we're going to have an honor code or we're not. And is Jake Ratzlaff good enough for us to erase a couple 100 years of history, or maybe 100 years of history, because he's this good at quarterback? I don't think he's that good of a quarterback.
He's not. You had him winning the Big 12, though.
No. He's a good quarterback. He's not a good enough quarterback for me to say I'm going to wipe away 100 years of my school and religion's history because this guy is that good.
But how many passing yards do you think he had last year? 3,000?
No,
2,800. I think it was
29.
But the progression he made from 23 to 24.
Yeah.
You know, I remember
20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions last year.
No, the last 5 games of the year, 2 touchdowns, 5 picks. He was 3-2 in those games. He played his worst in big games that cost them an opportunity to play in the Big 12 championship and ultimately get to a college football playoff. But my fear would be, I know you're talking about scrapping it, and look, I agree with you, but moving forward, how difficult is it going to be to get people to come play there?
Oh, it's almost, well, I mean, they've done it over the years. They've had really, really good quarterbacks with that same honor code that knew for.
Yeah, but now it's enforced.
So this wouldn't
Brandon
be the
Davies.
first time that they've changed the rules.
I think Brandon Davies is
fit
his
in
name.
better.
Okay, so they've changed these before, Tyler?
Yeah. The Mormon Church, when Utah originally wanted to become a state, they had to completely get rid of the polygamy practice. You can't have 50 wives anymore.
It's a step in the right direction.
Well, then we can get rid of the honor code,
I guess.
Yeah, we can.
Or just take that out.
Well, I mean, if you were willing to sacrifice part of your religion to become a state, are you willing to sacrifice part of your religion to become a football power? Is the question that you've got to answer.
I think the answer is yes.
Well, I don't know. I'm not part of that church, and I'm not a BYU guy, so I have no earthly idea how important it is to them.
7-game suspension. What would Pat Dye give him?
Kneel down.
Hey, he slept with a woman.
But on the other side of this, Jim, if this case is now behind him, how intriguing a transfer is he? Because now I'm only getting a guy that got kicked off his team because he had sex with his girlfriend. I'm not getting a guy that still has rape accusations hanging over his head.
He could start for 60% of the teams.
I mean,
in college football.
I just wonder how attractive this guy is, because you said the key words there, Jim. He's a graduate, so he can exercise graduate transfer, which is different than transfer portal.
So you think he could start for 60% of college football
He's a better
teams.
option for Tennessee than Joey Aguilar.
I would agree with Lance on that.
And I think everybody's come to the conclusion people like to have sex in Knoxville, so I think they'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, that aside, the case hanging over his head is the issue here, and that's not hanging over his head anymore. So you would say Tennessee for sure.
I would say Tennessee for sure. Anybody else in the SEC? I don't know. But Tennessee, yeah.
That gets us to our spotlight today, brought to you by Alexander Shunnarah. Hit it, Tim.
The College Football Spotlight.
Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com. That is the website to go to. One thing Alexander wanted to do was create a firm that could handle any issue his community faced. They now handle not only personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com.
The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame welcomed in Nick Saban, former LSU coach, to the Hall of Fame. Coach had this to say about his induction at the ceremony over the weekend.
I'm really, really proud. Every time I see LSU, all the time I coached at Alabama, I know it was a great rivalry, but I was always proud because I felt like we did something to raise the bar here, and the program has been outstanding ever since.
And that's why he's the best in the business. Head coach Nick Saban, everybody. Congratulations, coach.
Thank you.
Big applause there. Herb Vincent, SEC office there on the PBS broadcast. So how good was LSU before Nick Saban, in your opinion?
Not good.
They won the SEC championship in 86 and in 1988 and in 1970. Their best stretch in football history, by my opinion, was a 16-3 SEC record between 86 and 88 with 2 SEC championships, no national championships there. And it all changed after Saban went there.
So let me ask you this, Brown. Do you guys think Alabama basketball pre-Nate Oates was better than LSU football pre?
Yes.
Ooh, Alabama basketball, a lot better.
Yeah, I'd say a lot better.
Yeah.
Pre-Nate Oates.
I know, but I mean, we are talking about one Elite Eight appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of Sweet 16s, a lot of SEC championships, second winningest program in SEC history. So yeah, I would definitely say, Jim, if you just want to look at the decade before Nick Saban took over, all right, I'm just going to run these win totals. You tell me how these fly in Baton Rouge today. This is the decade before Nick Saban took over. Mike Archer's last year, 5-6 overall, 2-5 in conference. He's fired. Curly Hallman takes over. 5-6, 3-4. 2-9, 1-7 in conference. 5-6, 3-5, 4-7, 3-5. He never had a winning record, Curly Hallman, in his time at LSU. So they hired Jerry DiNardo running the option out of Vandy. 7-4-1 his first year. We got an improvement. 10-2, 9-3. He's headed in the right direction. 4-7, 3-8.
Yeah. Do you remember DiNardo playing in 2 SEC championship games?
You mean coaching?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think he did he?
Did he not?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well, no, because I'm looking at his record right here. So 1996, they were tied for first in the West. Alabama played in that one. They played
Saban and Les Miles and Orgeron are the only ones that have.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm Brian Kelly.
So they didn't make it there?
And then 97, they were tied for first in the West. That was 97. Was that Auburn, Tennessee?
Tennessee, Auburn is who I would guess.
Or was it Arkansas?
Yeah, it might have been Arkansas.
Yeah, they did not make it. I'll look. Right.
Arkansas, Florida.
So, they were good in
Auburn,
1950s and 60s with
so did Saban,
Paul Dietzel or whatever his name was.
Yeah, and then
but Saban is the one that sort of turned them into the modern day program they are.
Did he do more for LSU football or Spurrier for Florida football?
Pretty equal.
Yeah.
Pretty equal.
Both Spurrier unlocked Florida football and Nick Saban unlocked LSU football.
Pretty equal. Yep. That's a good comparison there.
I will say those that followed Saban have been more successful than those that followed Spurrier, though, because it's like Saban.
I mean, outside of Urban Meyer, nobody's had success.
Yeah, nobody's really had success. But everybody that has followed Saban has had some level of success at LSU.
Yep.
I mean, both of the guys won a national championship, and I don't think either one of them are particularly good coaches.
And Alabama fans hope it continues in Tuscaloosa. That's our spotlight today. The show being brought to you by our friends at Gutter Cap as well today, LT.
Saw our friend C-Stu over the weekend, 205-823-2212. Give him a buzz. The last thing you want to do is the dirty, dangerous job that is cleaning the gutters out. You need to keep the gutters clean and free-flowing with all this rain in the area. You'll know if they're working or not. Right now, he will come out and give you the free estimate. Incredible deal from our friend Chris Stewart at Gutter Cap, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it, guttercapbirmingham.com.
Listen, our friend Chris Gordy does Locked On SEC, and he spent the weekend down at the Manning Passing Academy. And I had a chance to interview Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson. On my Twitter platform, I've retweeted the entire interview, or you can go to Locked On SEC on the YouTube channel to see the entire Ty Simpson interview. But here is Alabama's QB1 talking about new offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb.
Yeah, Coach Grubb's the man. He's super smart, brought a lot of stuff from the NFL, and just, his intensity every day. He's the same guy every day, and that's what he challenges us quarterbacks to be. No highs and no lows, but understand that, you need to be the same guy and come out, and be metal. And what he means by that, just, your breaking point and making sure that, you come out every day and be the strongest guy. So I'm very excited to see what we do during the season and just, his intensity that he brings each and every week.
Now, everyone, I hope, saw Ty throwing the football and some of the clips down there, and you're throwing it on air, and you're not in helmets and pads and everything, but it's a chance for you to show off deep balls. Brown, I know you saw the video.
I saw the video of the one deep ball. I mean, and everybody's like, Ty Simpson's got a hose. I'm like, I think it was complete. I can't tell the receiver looks like that big in the video because it's shot from behind the quarterback. I can't really tell how far he threw it. It was a great-looking pass. He looked natural doing it, but I don't know.
Big-looking kid in person there. Tyler, do you have that still photo that I told you was not important before the show that now I'm calling on it right now? You don't have it anymore? Okay, good.
Well, yeah, because you were going to talk about how big he looked?
He looked bigger than I remember him looking standing next to Jalen Milroe, who looked big, by the way.
He's quite large.
Yeah, Milroe is a big boy.
Yeah.
Ty Simpson listed 6'2", 215.
Yeah. But he looked bigger, except when he was standing next to Jalen Milroe last year.
Right. I did see the Manning Passing Academy used to be the there he is. Is that the one you were talking about?
I mean, he's put together there. Looks like A.J. McCarron to me.
Yeah, AJ's bigger than people think. And
I
was reminded of that when he joined us.
AJ was taller than that, but thinner. I mean, 6'2", 215 is me.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's about you guys.
Yeah.
It's, so Ty having a good time down there. He had a chance to talk about his receiving core as well. Here's Ty Simpson. By the way, if you want to go check it out, Ryan Williams on his platform calls Ty Simpson up. I don't know. I saw it Friday or Saturday night. It's a trend where you call and tell one of your best friends good night, and he calls Ty Simpson good night. Hey man, just call in and tell you good night.
Right.
Dude, why are you really calling me? Just call in and tell you good night. You know, sleep well. I want you to get a good night's sleep.
We got a lot of stuff. We got some boring trends for all the stuff we've got to do.
Yeah, telling people good night.
But Ty Simpson talks about this receiving core, and I learned something in this I did not know, but it excites me. It excites you if you're an Alabama fan like me.
I think it's by far one of the best receiving corps in the nation, if not the best. You know, we got Ryan coming back, who is hungrier, healthier, and honestly older. And then you got one of my good friends from high school, Isaiah Horton, who transferred in from Miami, who I have a great connection with. And then you have guys returning like Jeremy Bernard, who was a key player for us last year. And then you have new guys who are emerging like Rico Scott, Derek Meadows. And Latsier Brooks, who are very dynamic. We can put them anywhere. So Coach Shep does a great job of those guys of getting them dialed in, and I'm very looking forward to seeing what they do during the season, because they've progressed so much, even from the first time that we got our hands on them in January.
I didn't take the time to look when Isaiah Horton transferred from Miami to Tuscaloosa that he was high school teammates with Ty Simpson.
I didn't know. Look, and I think most people would say this is a really, really good wide receiver room. I feel better about Joel Klatt saying it than the quarterback. You figure the quarterback's going to be like, hey, man, this is one of the best wide receiver rooms in college football.
Yeah, I've heard that from several people, though. And I'm just telling you, there is not a whole lot of concern in Tuscaloosa about the quarterback position. Now, fans may get wound up about it. Fans of other schools may take shots at Ty Simpson. But from the people I have talked to in Tuscaloosa, and I think you guys have had the same experience, two things I have learned about this offense from Tuscaloosa. They are very high on this receiver room. From someone inside the program, the quote to me, best receiver room at Alabama since 2020. And if you've forgotten who that was Devontae Smith, the eventual Heisman Trophy winner, Jalen Waddle in the NFL, John Mechie in the NFL. So 2020, best receiver room since 2020. Anybody I've talked to in Tuscaloosa, they're like, there is nothing to be concerned about Ty Simpson. Until you see him at a game, everything can change. But from everything we've seen and talked to with this kid, we are not concerned about him. And then to have outfits like Pro Football Focus say that's the best offensive line in America.
I do think for the receiver room to be next level, you need that third and fourth option. Now, in 2020, it didn't matter because Jalen Waddle goes out and Devontae Smith has a lights-out, epic, historic year. But I think Isaiah Horton, Jalen Hell, whoever that third guy is going to be so important, because you know what you're getting with Jeremy Bernard. You know what you're probably going to be getting with Ryan Williams. It's that third and fourth guys that will make it a great receiver room.
Yeah. Clint brought him up earlier, Dunaway. Rarely do we talk about receiver at Alabama on this show when people in the chat room don't bring up the name Latsier Brooks, the freshman, the incoming receiver. So I don't know that he's going to do what Ryan Williams did last year, but as a newcomer, see if that guy makes an impact too.
That is Ty Simpson down at the Passing Academy with the Mannings over the weekend. A lot of fun always to take a look at those guys slinging the ball around, and one of the great off-season moments that gets us one step closer to the college football season. Hemphill is there for you for the weekend. Heating and cooling. Touched 100 at some point over the weekend, and you want that air conditioning to keep working, right, LT?
Look, there is nothing like when you see the frost on the inside of the window when you're coming in from a hot day. Like, I'll take the dogs to the dog park, and then walking in from that heat and that AC hits you flush in the face. Make sure the HVAC unit ready to keep up with this changing weather. Our friends at Hemp Hill Services, best in the business. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew there. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
And our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Look at that chicken. Brined overnight, cooked to order. It is so dang delicious. Perfect for tailgating, hand-cut chicken fingers, and all the wonderful sides that go with it. Sterling is dedicated to putting a great plate of food in front of you every time you walk through the doors at Champy's Chicken in Alabaster. And that same location for over a decade, just off of 119. Perfect for tailgatings, for office meetings, parties, whatever. He can throw up plate after plate, pan after pan of great food for you. And don't forget the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales that are absolutely perfect tamales. If you've never had one, it's a great entry point into your love of tamales. It's that Mississippi Delta recipe with a little heat to it. So spicy, so good. It's all right there. Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the next round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and Bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Braves are still 10.5 out of first place. After splitting with the Mets and then, battling over the weekend. The Mets, by the way, get swept by the Pirates. 13 of their last 16 the Mets have lost. Phillies, coming off that series with the Braves, get Bryce Harper back maybe today in baseball terms there. Shohei Ohtani hit virtually 102 miles per hour in one of his pitches over the weekend.
Dodgers heating up right now. The Mets have done everything they can to let the Braves back in this thing, but the problem is you've got Philadelphia right there.
That's right. And the Braves can't string together a lot of wins. Their All-Star break coming up. The same week we're in Atlanta for SEC Media Days. We're there 13th through the 17th. All-Star game's the 15th. Should be a lot of fun over there. My Tampa Bay Rays can't get past the Yankees. We get to a half game, then we lose. Get to a half game, then we lose. But it's good to be in contention this deep into the year as we flip the calendars tomorrow to July. And that's when we return to football at the end of that month with the Hall of Fame game coming up. Champy's Chicken brings you this hour. So, too, our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. A couple of things to get to before we get to trash.
Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. True pioneer. I got the procedure done in 2003, had the 2200 vision. After the procedure, only took 12 minutes for both eyes. 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. They're conveniently located UAB Highlands. Make sure you ask for Amy Toe. The next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
We talk a lot about Alabama's recruiting today, the only class with 3 5-stars in it. Georgia is the only class that has the number one player at 2 different positions in this recruiting class. They had number 1 quarterback Jared Curtis on the board. They add to that now the number 1 defensive lineman in J.J. Johnson. That commitment happened over the weekend for the Georgia Bulldogs. So Kirby still rolling and recruiting, and more still to come for them. And at Michigan, they get Carter Meadows, 5-star edge rusher. The key here, it came down to Michigan versus Ohio State for the kid. And he ends up taking Michigan over the Buckeyes. Both of them wanted him, big 5-star edge guy. He picks the Michigan Wolverines. So a nice win in recruiting for Michigan over Ohio State. Deontay Wilder had his fight Friday night. He wins it in a stoppage knockout in the 7th round. His first win in 3 years. They expect him to do 2 more build-ups, and then they hope they're able to get a fight with Anthony Joshua for the heavyweight championship.
How old's Wilder now?
39.
Okay.
39. 3 years without a win. Did it in a stoppage. One of those where they wave it off. The guy can't go anymore. Dangerous for him.
He's going to have that top end power through mid to late 40s. I mean, what was George Foreman when he came back? Was he 40 or 50? I remember thinking he was so old back then.
Yeah, I think he was in his 40s when the last time he won the heavyweight championship, right?
Yeah, before he got into the grill game.
Yeah.
If you had
from
held
messing up people's grills to selling them.
If you were holding my family hostage and I had to name the heavyweight champion before you said Anthony Joshua, I
don't think most could.
You would have gone on one of the Furies, right?
I guess.
I think Tyson's retired.
Yeah. I don't know where I would have gone, honestly. I mean,
But that's who Deontay fought 3 fights with, right?
Yeah, it was like the Klitschko's to the Furies.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joshua's been that guy for a while. But I mean, how often do you see those guys fight? Like, back to when you brought up Wilder, we were all like, yeah, he's out of the game. And you're like, he's fighting tonight in Wichita.
Yeah. London, I thought, but it ended up being Wichita.
Close.
Yeah, it was on Wichita time.
The London of Kansas.
Yes. The Big 12 did something over the weekend, and it was a bad time to do this because it's coming off their most embarrassing moment. But the Big 12 athletic directors and coaches have decided that they are not going next week to vote for a preseason media poll. They're not going to have a media preseason poll at their media days next week.
Why? Because they looked so stupid last year?
Because last year they had Arizona State 16th out of 16, and Arizona State won the league and almost won a playoff game.
You're just look, we deserve to get destroyed for dumb things that we say and do. This is part of it. Look, none of us can predict who's going to win the Big 12. It maybe just got a little bit easier with BYU probably starting an unknown at quarterback. But, I mean, this is the fun of it, is having at the end of the season saying Arizona State was picked 16th of 16th, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I mean, do you mind getting things that wrong? Like,
no, if I did that, I wouldn't do this for a business. I mean, we do this for a living. We say we do 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. We're going to say a lot of things on this show, and we're going to get a lot of things wrong. And people never come back to you and say, you know what you got right. They always come back to you and say, you know what you got wrong. That's part of this business. And if that bothered me, I'd be, selling ice cream in an ice cream truck. But it's just part of the business. You're going to get stuff wrong. If you're going to get in the prediction game, and we don't even do a ton of predictions. People do way more predictions than we do. We give opinions, and they're going to be wrong. If I was right about every opinion.
We are on the record, though, with our SEC. I know, coaches are going to be a little subjective, but the SEC quarterbacks, I think this will probably come back on 1, 2, or 3 of us at the end of the year.
I can't even remember where I put them. I think I had Nussmeier number 1.
I know I had Nussmeier.
I had Arch a little bit lower than most people do. I mean, it's just that's part of the business. I mean, I don't understand. Everybody's wrong. Like, if there were people in this world that weren't wrong, everybody that kills you for being wrong, they've got a job they've been wrong in too. So yeah. I don't know why.
I used to be really excited about being one of the media members and voting at SEC Media Days for things like this. I really just don't get involved with the voting anymore, but I do think it's interesting, and especially the Big 12, because the SEC, it's going to go one of two directions this year. It's going to be Texas or Georgia, but the Big 12, I mean, that's what's kind of fun about this. There could be 5, 6, 7 different directions it could go.
The Big 10 also chooses not to do media polls, and now it's the Big 12 joining them, the ACC and the SEC. As of the start of the show today, still planning on having us vote at their media days coming up.
What's is there any reason behind it?
I would say the ADs and coaches just don't like the preseason rankings.
But you get pressure, it from media anyway.
The pressure that you put on a coach, or to have that team having to deal with 16th. I don't know the reasoning behind it. They just voted not to do it. Trash time here. Before we do trash, though, tell us about Dr. B.
Dr. B, the best in the business. Look, me and Brown have been seeing Dr. B for years now. If you're starting to thin out, it doesn't matter what the age is. Could be 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whenever it is. You want to be preemptive. Not only do you want to maintain what you've got, you also want to grow some back. Our friend Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business. He's got the new test, T3. So easy, painless, affordable. Takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents in pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Stop wasting your money. Critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go see Dr. B. Find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, t3hair.net.
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus. What you doing, Terry?
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
It's almost his day.
Easy to drink. Easy to enjoy. It is almost his day. We are 4th of July week. Okay, I ask this with all seriousness. Is Beyonce a pop star now, or is she a country music star?
Oh, I'm still going to go pop star. I don't think there's a whole lot of country in what she was singing there.
I would put her as a pop star.
Yeah.
She's just a star. I mean,
yeah, I think star, period, yeah.
I mean, Taylor Swift still sings some of her country hits when she's on when she does her Eras tour. So Beyonce can have a country song or two. She did win Country Artist of the Year in some award show. But no, she's still a pop star.
That's why I asked. But Beyonce's Saturday night concert in Houston screeched to a halt when a set piece malfunctioned while she was suspended over the crowd. Now, the pop star, I should have just read
pop
this.
star, yeah.
Was being carried through the air in a red prop Cadillac when the car began to tilt sideways as it turned a corner during the performance of her single 16 Carriages. Now, in video captured by fans, Beyonce grasped one of the cables carrying the set piece, calmly continued to sing for about a minute before ordering the music to, quote, stop, stop, stop. Yeah, I probably would have freaked out a little bit more. That thing gets sideways like that. Now, the car remained stuck, floating above concert goers for several moments until she was lowered to safety and retrieved by stadium personnel and security. Now, the show did go on after the incident.
Oh, yeah. That is
a bigger problem if the straps snap for whoever's underneath it.
Yeah, that's going to be bad right there. Looks like crew members in this photo. It's going to be bad for Beyonce, too, though. I mean, I don't think she's going to come out unscathed. It's going to look like the General Lee after it jumped that thing in Kentucky.
Speaking of Houston, did you guys see the Travis Scott Astroworld documentary?
I'm not. I don't really have much interest in that one.
I'm not.
Yeah, it's infuriating. You don't want to see it.
No, I do not. I mean, basically, a bunch of people got messed up, right?
Well, the logistics, they basically put them in a death trap. If you ever saw Battle of the Bastards, one of the great Game of Thrones episodes, where the battle tactic was to get them all together and then basically crush them, they inadvertently did this at a concert. Just terrible. Man was arrested after police say he broke into an upstairs neighbor's apartment wearing only underwear and pepper sprayed him in the face while he slept. This guy looks like he needs a shower. According to the Lauderhill Police Department, June 21st, officers responded to a scene in an apartment complex. Upon arrival, officers encountered a distressed victim with irritation to his face. Now, the victim reported he had been attacked by a neighbor he identified as Andrew Tarosky, 71 years old, a resident of the unit directly below him. Now, the victim told officers he was taking a nap when loud banging at his front door started him awake. By the time he opened his eyes, Tarosky, described as wearing no shirt or no pants, was hovering over him, sprayed him directly in the face with what was later confirmed to be pepper spray. The victim immediately experienced severe burning in his eyes, told police that he feared for his life during the attack. He refused transport to a medical facility but was treated at the scene by fire and rescue. Officers on the scene reported feeling irritation consistent with pepper spray lingering in the bedroom.
I've never smelled. Never had the smell of pepper spray. I've never felt the burn. All I remember is the people after the Ohio State-Michigan game. All the people talk about how awful it was, like the media members that were out there and the cops had to hit the pepper spray because of the fight.
We were at a house party one night, and we were seniors. And you know my buddy Chief. Chief was a junior, but he was sitting across the room, and I had another buddy, Stuart, was fiddling with this girl's keys because she had the pepper spray on it. And he hit it, and it, like a snake, like a cobra, it shot straight across and hit Chief in the face.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was bad. But, yeah, we all got the hint of the pepper throughout. So it's pretty potent. I told you about the bear spray that blew back in my face.
Yeah.
Almost got me.
Yeah, that's like pepper spray on steroids, though, right? Bear spray.
Yeah. In an incident no less strange than a scene from a Hollywood movie, a woman from Kentucky found a winning lottery ticket worth $80,000 inside of a trash can.
All right.
Now, while doing her usual household cleaning, the woman noticed a colorful piece of paper in the garage, or the garbage, I should say, that looked oddly familiar. When she picked it up, she realized it was a lottery ticket that she had either forgotten about or assumed was a loser, only to discover one of the most astonishing surprises of her life. Now, the woman, who chose to remain anonymous, not very anonymous in this picture, Pamela Howard Thornton.
We know her full name.
Quickly scanned the ticket using a lottery app, confirmed that the numbers matched the latest winning draw. In an instant, what seemed like a worthless ticket turned into an unexpected fortune. The shock was so great that she checked the ticket multiple times to make sure that it was correct. But yeah, she won $80,000 here. It's pretty strong.
I didn't think. Well, I don't know. I mean, people got to do what they got to do, but the old I want to stay anonymous over $80,000. I mean,
yeah, I don't
know how many people are going to be beating your door down if they know you got 80. Now, if they know you got 80 million.
Yeah, I think anybody with common sense knows if you went over a certain threshold, $80,000 is not that.
Yeah.
That you probably would want to anonymously get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think $80,000. If I know Pamela, I'm pretty certain Pamela's already got the $80,000 spent.
Yep.
She's going to go get her a car, pay down a few credit card bills, and there's not going to be anything left for me to swindle her out of.
Okay, so our prisoner pool is officially over this past Friday night.
Saw this. Congrats to you.
Yeah, kind of knew it was going to go down like this, but jail escapee Antoine Massey recaptured this past Friday the 27th in New Orleans, according to the U.S. Marshal Service and Louisiana State Police. Now, Massey was recaptured in the Holly Grove area of New Orleans. Marshals officials said the arrest came after a Crime Stoppers tip. What happens to snitches?
They get stitches.
Yeah, one came out here. New Orleans Sheriff Susan Hudson later said the information leading to Massey's arrest was given to her directly by phone. Massey was alone in the house when he was surrounded and surrendered to authorities. Quote, he peacefully gave up to law enforcement who surrounded the house. The arrest comes 6 weeks to the day the escape of the 10 inmates from the Orleans Justice Center jail, which occurred shortly after midnight on the morning of May 16th. Massey, 33 years old, ninth escapee to be recaptured. Only four-time killer Derek Groves remains at large. $50,000 reward for information leading to each of the latest escapees' arrest has been on the table for weeks. Now, while Walter Martin, Chief Deputy of the U.S. Marshal, said Massey was arrested around 3:30 p.m., he vowed the search for Groves will continue until the last escapee is apprehended. They're telling him that he just needs to go on and it will be much better if he taps out on his own. That's what they always say, right?
Yeah, you just definitely want to give yourself up.
Is that Prince William, part of the agents there in New Orleans?
No, but Lance, we've seen a lot of movies, and if they ended up on screen having the police in any movie dressed like this, would be like, they don't dress like that.
He really would.
I mean, one of them looks like he should be on some sort of gondola ride or something.
Well, it's almost like they took three dudes that were visiting New Orleans, and they're like, hey, we're not only going to give you a ride along with the cops, we're going to give you Kevlar, we're going to give you some assault rifles. I mean, it really is three dudes that came straight from Razzoos and suited up.
but no helmets.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't even play paint gun in that outfit.
Hey, how defeated does dude look, too? He's just been on the run.
Well, he was the one that he was Tyler's guy, right? Tyler, this was your selection, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was my guy. He kept posting everywhere on social media saying that he was going to ask Trump for a pardon. Yep. He was going to ask Lil Wayne for a pardon. And they found him in what is basically the next neighborhood over from the prison.
And that was going to be my point, Jim.
They got him in Holly Grove.
He's been on the lam for 6 weeks. How far from the prison do you think they caught him?
Yeah,
10 minutes.
Yeah, stay local. That's what I'd said earlier when they first announced that he was there in the neighborhood in New Orleans.
That's the problem with these fugitives, man. 99% stay to the known. I guarantee this Derek Groves cat.
They may not find him.
Nobody's seen anything from that Derek guy.
Yeah, this was the smartest. Well, smartest is a low bar here. Smartest one of the bunch.
And the scary thing is he's the one that everybody's fearing.
I know. He's the worst one.
If it ends up that he ended up in a swamp and the Gators got him, does Tyler end up winning de facto? That this guy was the last one living?
That is a good question.
I don't think he's out.
We're going to need to know date of death, though. That's going to be a problem in that.
That's the thing.
How are you going to put the...
we do the autopsy. If the coroner comes back and he's like, he died on the 26th, it's Tyler.
Yeah.
But if he's like, post-mortem, here's what we're coming up with, it was the 29th, that's me.
I might have to get Shunnarah on this.
And I don't think the Gators, this thing will go, if we ever hear Grove's name again, if there's a sighting, it will go really, really bad in one direction or all directions.
I don't think they ever drag that guy back into jail.
No.
No, I don't think so.
And
that's all I got.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The great folks at Bud Light and our friends at Adams Beverage there. We mentioned tomorrow starts the Nike deal for Auburn. It is also the beginning of rev sharing in college athletics. Ross Dellinger with a huge report that has one SEC athletic director speaking out about what he's been campaigning for the last 4 years privately, off the record with other ADs and administrators. It's Danny White of Tennessee. He says he believes now is the time for collective bargaining for college football and college basketball. The plan that Danny White's been shopping around is that they're not employees of the school. They're employees of a national employment organization that partners with a college football players association. And then you end up committing as a member of this workforce to play for Tennessee, for Alabama, for these schools like that. Several other ADs from Baylor to SMU and others have said Danny White's got a good plan. I want every option on the table as we go into this new era. But when you get to collective bargaining, every AD out there mentioned this in this Ross Dellinger story. When you go to collective bargaining, what eventually happens at some point?
Strike.
There's a strike.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a college football Saturday? We don't have any football because we have the players striking. Where do you get your scab players from? The Pie Cap House?
That's true.
I don't know what you do, but I mean, when's the last time we had a strike in a major sports league?
We have one coming up pretty soon. It's either the NFL or Major League Baseball or both. We're projecting strikes in the near future.
But we've had them in every major sports league. And
at some point, yeah.
That's as the unions have gained power and developed. And if it's on the front end of a union, almost any...
Oh, that is a good point.
Yeah, almost any front end of a union, before they can garner all the power that they need, they're going to have some sort of work stoppage.
But was it... I think the NHL had one. We know baseball's was 1995. Football's was 87, I think.
The next major strike is expected to be Major League Baseball.
How soon do they say?
The end of this collective bargaining agreement, whenever that is.
Would you guys take a MLB strike every year to avoid a college football or NFL strike?
Yeah, we could end Major League Baseball to avoid college football strike.
Now I understand I'm wanting to get this rev share in line, but I don't want to strike ever.
Oh, no, I do not either. I mean, I think this is inevitable. The interesting part about that, more so than the unionization to me, is the fact that there was like a centralized place these guys work. So basically they're employees of College Football Incorporated.
Right.
But as employees of College Football Incorporated, they have a contract to play for the University of Alabama.
That's right.
Or Auburn University.
They commit to play for Alabama.
Yeah, but my contract is with college football, but they say, okay, you're an employee of college football, but we give your rights to the University of Alabama. You're under contract to play for Alabama for us.
In Ross Dellinger's story at Yahoo Sports, there's an attorney in California that's already got, I don't know how many players signed up, ready to go, because what every football program has had to do over the last month is to have a big meeting with everybody and saying, look, we spent $27 million on you guys, everybody in this room last year. Now we can, July 1st, we can only spend $14 million on you guys. So obviously, we're all smart in the room here, right? We spent 27 on you. We can only spend 14 million on you. So everybody's about to get a pay cut. Does that go over well ever?
No,
not at all.
In any workforce in America, it doesn't go over well. So the lawyer in California thinks we're going to have lawsuits starting tomorrow until the end of time, until we do something else. Because how can you take away my money now?
It's going to be bumpy and uncomfortable for college football fans as this gets sorted out. I mean, it already has been. I mean, I think most college football fans would call the transfer portal and NIL bumpy and uncomfortable, right? And some of that is some of the kinks are getting worked out. But once we get to the point where players are under contract either with a school or with a third party that is representing the school, however you want to look at that, it is going to be bumpy and uncomfortable while these kinks get worked out. And it could be for a long period of time. And there will always be things that come up that they're like, okay, we did not anticipate this being an issue, so we got to fix this issue. And while it's getting fixed, it remains being an issue. So, I mean, I don't know what the next 10 years of college athletics are going to look like, but I do think there's going to be a lot of bumpy and uncomfortable in there for your fans that are like, we just want what we used to have.
That almost is word for word what Danny White says. He says, we can keep doing this as clunky as we're doing it right now for the next 5 to 10 years, or we can do something now to correct it, and that's set up a union, set up an employment house, and do some collective bargaining so that both sides agree to what we're doing.
So I saw over the weekend how much the NCAA has spent fighting all of this. Did you see that story?
I've seen similar stories in the past. I think what was the bill? $308 million was one I saw.
One, but I think overall it's 1-point-something billion.
Yeah.
And the point was
legal fees or something.
This was legal fees over whatever period of time that the NCAA has spent fighting or having to defend themselves in fights that involve NIL, transfer portal, and all these things. And the point was, if they had just said this is inevitable, what could that $1-point-something billion have done for college athletics?
Yeah.
They've just given it to legal fees. What could it have done for sports that are now having to be cut, right? And maybe those sports get cut eventually. I don't know. But would $1-point-something billion have saved men's rowing at Stanford? Or
that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. I mean, it would have taken a long time to burn through $1.8 billion. And that may not be the number, but it's something like it's an absurd number like that.
One AD says this will all hit home when in one fiscal year, and they referenced Alabama in the story that had lost $40 million last year and other programs lost money. One AD, anonymous AD, says this will hit home when in one fiscal year we go from having 28 sports on campus to 6.
Yeah.
Which is about to happen. Everybody's going to be like, hey, what happened? What happened?
Yeah. So here, I've got the number right here. In fiscal year 24, they've reportedly spent $500 million of legal fees since the Ed O'Bannon case was started July 2009. And as one attorney points out, but they're also potentially on the hook for what would bring it to $1.5 billion because they're on the hook for some other fees in cases that they have lost. $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Since the Ed O'Bannon in 2009.
Yeah, but do 133 programs. How much is that per program that they'd have to spend on that if they'd just given that $1.5 billion to them to spend?
$11 million. $11.2 million. Over since 2009.
Yeah. That's not a lot of money relatively for each school.
It's not, but if you went to Greg Byrne and John Cohen and said over
we'll take it.
Yeah. Over the next 20 years, over the next 15 years, we'll give you $11 million total dollars, they'd take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but that's $11 million. That's less than $1 million a year.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
But you know where that $1 million a year for each school went? To lawyers.
Yeah.
Not to the schools.
Get you a good shooting guard.
Yeah.
Really? I probably have to pay more for a good shooting guard.
Maybe so.
All right, Alabama, our team today at number 7 in the countdown. We move into the top 6 starting tomorrow in our 40 and 40 countdown brought to you by Champions.
Did you agree with that, though? Like, is it an utter disaster if Kalen DeBoer in year 2 does not get Alabama to a 12-team playoff?
I mean, unless there are like an incredible spate of injuries where you can look at it and say it was just unavoidable, yes, that's an utter disaster.
I do agree. If you were asking me, I do think they're a playoff team, and I love this team more and more the closer you get to the start of it. And all the pieces are falling together. You're hearing more and more good things about the wide receivers. You hear more and more good things about Ty Simpson. Get to see him being interviewed by Chris Gordy. See that whole interview at Locked On the SEC down at the Manning Passing Academy. Get to see him be the face of the quarterback room there. Just a lot of good stuff. See Keelan Russell on the cover of Men's Health last week. See the recruiting going well. A lot of positive things for Alabama. Number 7 in our 40 and 40 rankings today. The Meltdown's with you at 2 today live. And then Melton will school me at poker tonight. And we're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.